Nate!
Greg, what time is it, man? It is a Tuesday, not a Friday. A little bit off my game. I feel like
Just
we're doing this at a different time. But welcome everybody to a special "What's This Bird" live. We're doing a hours of bird related.
Yeah, we are
here for the next bit to help promote the ABA's spring membership drive. We're excited to talk birds with you for as long as you are willing to put up with us talking about birds.
Yep.
Greg, what's the deal with this membership drive? What are we trying to do here?
Okay, so here's the deal. For every member that joins today, we have a very generous matching donation. They will put $100 on top of your membership. So you join for $30, you join for $80, you get a family membership for more than that. Whatever you do, an extra $100 gets tacked onto that. So let's get people in the door.
If you've been waiting for an opportunity to join the American Birding Association,
now is the time.
No time than doing it now, because you can feather our nest, as it were, to help us out a little bit. It goes into the general coffers and help us do all sorts of cool bird stuff that we love to do. It keeps the lights on, it keeps the doors open, it keeps the magazines pumping out. Someone says they can't hear me. My volume is noticeably lower than yours, Greg.
Okay, I will raise your volume then a little bit.
Raise it. I can raise my volume too, but
I got you controlled from here.
Yeah.
Hey, whoever just said that, how does Nate sound now? Is he doing better?
Testing. We're talking birds here live. Yeah, David, we're getting messages back channel. Listen, my mic is too quiet.
Okay.
It sounds great to me.
I know. It sounds great to me
fine.
too. But that's okay. If it sounds better to everybody else, hey, live TV, that's what happens. But
that's what happens, everybody. We're doing a live membership drive. If you're just now joining us, please consider joining the ABA. We have a generous matching donation through one of our board members. Every membership to the ABA gets an extra $100 towards the ABA's general fund. For as long as we do this, we've got an exciting show planned for you. Greg, we're doing a special What's This Bird live. If you're familiar with What's This Bird, the stuff that Greg and I have done every other week or so for, oh my God, how long have we been doing this?
Years
Greg?
and
Since
years.
the pandemic.
Before the pandemic.
We love talking birds with all y'all, and we've got some extra special bird identification tips, tricks, conundrums, conversations, all that stuff coming up for you now. And then after that, I'm going to be here on the mic with a couple friends from the American Birding Podcast to talk, to do a special Take It or Leave It hot take episode. So you can be part of that here. If you've got some hot takes, get them in the holster and get ready to shoot them out at us when we come back in an hour or so. And then after that, we've got some extra What's This Bird stuff from Greg.
We've got, my buddy Ayyash, who most of you know as the author of the Gull Guide.
The Gull Guide.
Sat down with me, the Gull Guide. He sat down with me for about an hour, and we discussed the one thing that everybody loves this time of year, those mangy, manky summer beat
gulls.
up gulls that you find loafing on beaches. And we talked about that for a little bit, and it's fun. But
absolutely. Hello to all the people coming in. Solamente V's from Tucson, Marsha Balestri from Ocean Pines, Maryland, Rebecca Wofford from Raleigh, North Carolina, just down the road from me. Reese ID. Sorry, these are kind of small for me. I should have gotten my readers. Hello from NYC. Boreal Maggie from Northern Minnesota. I think that's our Maggie, our staff member Maggie. Hi, Maggie. X-Ray the Enforcer loves the bump and intro, Greg. Kudos to that, to the new stuff. We're really pulling out all the stops here. Chris Ortega. We got a lot of friends here. David Howe from Concord, New Hampshire. Chef Lauren from the Bay Area. Oh my goodness. Look at all these people coming in saying Carl Bendorf, our former colleague Carl Bendorf from Colorado. Rebecca Robinson from Edmonton, Alberta. Eric Yanyo says his brand new birding came in the mail just today. I hope you're enjoying that. It's a really good one. Robert Dornfeld from Athens, Tennessee. Neely Folk from Western Massachusetts. Kevin Sarfield, 3263 from Rainy Inn. I don't know where Inn is. North Nebraska, North Carolina. No idea. Ocean City. Rudy JG. Hi, folks. As you know, this is a participatory program here. So if you've got questions about birds, bird identification, you want to shout out some answers in there, please let us know. We're here. We're live. We're ready to talk birds for you.
We are, and you know
we've got a lot of go, Greg.
No.
I was just so much to say. We got so much to say.
I can't contain myself. We were.
We're just so happy that the tech seems to be working.
Yes, because we have had some tech issues today.
It's been a little bit of a hairy hour.
And there may be something that pops up. So if something just disappears,
don't put that into the universe, Greg.
Just stay tuned. We'll be right back if something weird happens. Anyways, I know we were going to do this one way. We're going to do it backwards now. We got some members who have already joined. I want to give a shout out to them. We got Russell from Troy, New Hampshire, Eric and Kelly from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, Molly from Moab, Crystal from Englewood, Colorado, Jim from Stanton, California, Cindy Ann from Henderson, North Carolina, Vonda from Schaumburg, Illinois, Andrea from Falmouth, Massachusetts, Toivo, I'm saying that right? Toivo,
close enough.
Toivo, Mary and Katie from Magnolia, Texas, Kevin from Salt Lake City, Utah, Kelly from Greenfield, Missouri, Patrick from Philadelphia, Ryan from Cincinnati, Nate, take it over.
Yeah, you're running out of breath. I'll take it over. Matt and Tom from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Ash from Evans City, Pennsylvania. Dean from Lake Stevens, Washington. Logan from Northwood, Ohio. Susan from Lake Jackson, Texas. Holly from Lee's Summit, Missouri. Larry from Newcastle, Oklahoma. Robert from Gainesville, Florida. Pamela from Prosperity, South Carolina. Ann from Philly. Lori from San Antonio, Texas. Nancy from Nicholsville, Kentucky. Naomi from Las Vegas, Nevada. Stephen and Esther from Hudsonville, Michigan. Natalie from Chicago, Illinois, just right down your backyard.
Yeah.
Lynn from Alexandria, Virginia. Thomas from Erie, Pennsylvania, Brady from North Royalton, Ohio, and Leanne from Crested, Ohio, all of whom joined the ABA just in the last since 11:30 a.m. Eastern time because they wanted to be part of this, and we're excited.
Or by 11:30.
By 11:30 that works. By 11:30.
That's right. We're updating it every half hour or so as it comes through. So yeah. I hope a lot of you guys are watching who we're giving a shout out here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we are going to get to birds here in just a couple of minutes that we're looking at. Nate, you got some sun, man. We've been out birding?
Oh my goodness, it has been so hot here. But last week I was up at Biggest Week in American Birding.
Oh yeah.
An annual pilgrimage up to the warbler capital of the northern yellow warbler capital of the world. A lot of great birds, a lot of great birders. Great to touch base with so many people up there.
You know what? As far as seeing yellow warblers up there, that place is just it is sweet. It is sweet. So sweet.
Yeah, that's what they say. And it was a great year for olive-sided flycatcher up there. That was a brand new Ohio bird for me, and we had 3 different olive-sided flycatchers at 2 different locations while I was there birding, leading trips. I led a big day trip with Cedar Stanistreet, who's actually a new ABA staffer who's going to be helping me out on the podcast going forward. So it was great to work with them, and we saw a lot of great birds. We had like 111 species, which is pretty good considering the wind was really nasty. Honestly, we had like 70 species in the first hour and a half of birding.
That's
we ran into
fantastic.
a crazy good flock of warblers moving past at Maumee Bay. And then the wind kicked up and it got a little harder from there, but it was great. It was great birding, great seeing a lot of people who enjoy the podcast and said hi, and all the people who enjoy being members of the ABA too.
Yeah, I saw pictures. I'm sad that I wasn't able to be there, but I saw pictures and video, and man, that event just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It looked fantastic. We've got some messages from some of the people who were there speaking and performing and hanging out, leading trips and things coming up for you guys. Like Nate said, we've got a lot of stuff planned for today, so we hope you stick with us. It's funny, you were talking about all the olive-sided flycatchers. One of the things that I love about birding, I wrote an essay about this a few years ago, is that birding keeps you humble and it keeps you centered. Mm-hmm. And so, one of the things, I've been working on is my yard list. I got a new yard bird yesterday, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Or the day before. I got a Wilson's warbler, which is the first one I've ever seen in my yard. So what
was that? You cut out there for just a second, Greg. That was my own audio there.
I got a Wilson's warbler.
Good.
Yeah. It's the first one I've seen in my yard. Warbler. And I've been watching stuff tight in my yard, close in my yard. And so yesterday, I had this bird that perched up in a neighbor's tree, and just as I looked at it, the bird launched off and flew towards me and past me. And I got the camera up on it, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, that's an olive-sided flycatcher. I mean, it just looked, and as it flew away, I could even see the little white tufts on the hip patches. Yeah. And I looked at, and I chimped it, and I looked at the pictures. I'm like, oh yeah, that's an olive-sided flycatcher. I got the pictures in. It's an eastern kingbird.
Oh,
I mean,
there were a few of those in the same place.
It is the rangiest, nastiest looking kingbird I've ever seen. But the emarginated primaries and a few other things don't lie.
Yeah,
and it's just it kind of floored me a little bit once I looked at the pictures, because birding, it doesn't matter.
Exact same situation. Not with the different bird, but yeah,
we all have.
Yeah.
But it's just, it doesn't matter how sure you are. Every once in a while, a common bird is just gonna slap you upside the head, and it happens.
It's funny. I was thinking about this because it's about like a 9-hour drive back home from Ohio, and it gives me a lot of time to listen to podcasts and just kind of think. And I got me thinking that I think humility, I think, is a really important characteristic of birders, just kind of generally, because birds can be difficult. And I think when you have a hobby that involves so much of stuff that you cannot control, like you cannot control what the birds are doing, you cannot control what birds are in front of you, you cannot control what the weather is going to be like or what migration is going to be like. Like you do, it forces you to be humble in a way that some other hobbies maybe don't. And I think that's good for us as humans, and it's good for us as birders, and just another kind of fascinating aspect of this thing that we do. This thing that the ABA promotes.
I totally agree. Nate, we are going to take just a second. We are going to take a second long break here, just a minute. Folks, we will be back in just a second, so hang tight.
Hi, my name is Andrew Gutenberg, and I'm a birder and bird illustrator from Bozeman, Montana. And I've been a part of the ABA since 2008, when I got to go to Minot, North Dakota for my first ABA Young Birders Camp. I don't know if you could hear that. That was my first of the year grasshopper sparrow right there. Anyways, as a kid growing up in rural Montana, I didn't have much chance to meet other young birders, so those camps were super influential for me. And I still see the effects to this day. A lot of the friends I made there are people I still consider some of my best friends, even almost 2 decades later. And if you joined the ABA, you'll have a chance to support these young birder programs. In addition to all of the benefits you'll see for yourself, the magazine, Birding Magazine, North American Birds, the online ABA spaces, their community events. There's just a lot of cool benefits, cool people you get to rub shoulders with and learn from, go birding with. And you could change a kid's life just like mine was changed back in the day. So consider joining the ABA, rejoining the ABA, and happy birding.
All right, our buddy Andrew Gutenberg, thank you. So yeah, we've got some pals who have made some little videos for us that we're going to show you during the day today. But Nate, how about are you ready to look at some birds now?
Yeah, let's do some birds. That's why we're here, Greg. That's
Yeah.
why we do this thing.
Yeah, I know.
Let's identify some birds. And again, folks, this is live. If you have any questions, comments about the birds that we're seeing, identification tips that you have come across in your birding experience, please consider sharing those in the comments. We're live on YouTube and on Facebook, and we're watching those comments, and we love to hear them.
All right, here we go. Our first one is from Virginia. What do we got?
It's a big bird flying away from us, Greg. These photos are always super difficult because this is an angle that they don't typically show in your field guide, and so people get confused by it. But some general things that I'm seeing is it's big, it's dark.
Yep.
I don't think that is inaccurate. I mean, the photo's a little bit blown out here, so that's always makes things a little bit difficult. But I think the impression of a large dark bird with paler wingtips is an accurate one. Looks like it's missing a few primaries as well, so it's actively molting.
Yeah.
It looks like its feet are kind of palish. It's got kind of a skinny beak. There's a few things that I think this could be. But first impression,
I don't see much of a tail.
No, much of a tail, and that's hard to tell whether that's sort of an angle thing or a real thing. It could be. It looks kind of gully. Like I could see maybe like a dark gull. It could be a raptor.
Yeah.
That bill doesn't look like a hawk or a falcon or anything like that. But it's a big bird with broad wings that's kind of soaring away from us.
Could
dark.
It could be a frigate bird missing a tail.
Yeah, could be another option. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where we are in Virginia, but there are definitely frigate birds that show up on the eastern shore of Virginia. Not super regularly, but regularly enough. Yeah. So what do we want to focus on here, Greg? This is kind of a weird photo because there's nothing that's super obvious.
Well, there's two things that are obvious that you kind of mentioned here. One is the shape of the bill that we can see pretty clearly. Two, it's got some white or light gray in the primaries, and otherwise
definitely paler.
And otherwise, it's just basically black. So I mean, I realize
flat black too.
Yeah, and I realize this is in Virginia, but we're going to look at what this might be across the southern U.S. Really, it doesn't. None of the species we're going to talk about get up into Canada, at least not as anything other than vagrants. So let's take a look at what our choices are of big dark birds with some white in the wings.
Put a gull on there.
I did not.
Actually, gull just occurred to me as we just popped up.
I did not. I don't know that there is a gull that's quite that black.
No, and that's sort of it. It's the bill that sort of gives you a gully impression. And I don't know that there are gulls. I mean, it's sort of backwards for a gull, right? So
yes.
It's got like this dark body and dark base to the wings and pale tips, whereas I would think that, the exact opposite of most gull species in the United States or in the ABA area or the world for that matter. Let's rule that one out right off the bat. So we're talking about some weird raptors here, all sorts of kind of gangly shaped raptors that are kind of can cause birders some problems.
Yeah, and the first one I think we can rule out here is common blackhawk for a couple of reasons. One, as you mentioned, the shape of the bill, which we can see pretty darn well. But two, even at that angle, we'd be able to see that big old tail band, especially the white terminal band.
You see some white in the tail,
and we would see some pattern, a different kind of pattern in the primaries. Of all the birds we're looking at, common blackhawk shows less of that white flash in the primaries than the other three. The other three definitely do.
Yeah, so Virginia, a common blackhawk will be super uncommon in Virginia, so we can just kind of throw the location.
But stuff happens.
Record, but stuff. I mean, I'd almost think like Cuban blackhawk would be a likely one, because that's been in Georgia before.
Yeah.
Let's see. So let's go on. Move over to the left. Crested caracara, definitely a bird that people in the southeast have been seeing more of in the last decade or so. Crested caracara, one of those crazy kind of south central birds that wanders quite a bit, with records basically all over the ABA area, even into southern Canada. I think I want to say there was been a couple in like Nebraska recently. So definitely a bird to be on the lookout for. Caracara, very uniquely shaped bird, super long neck, super long tail. And even though they can look awfully dark with a kind of the pale wingtips that we're seeing here, that tail is sort of, I realize that we're getting a little bit of a foreshortened bird here.
Yeah, but you'd be able to see it.
You would still see some tail extending beyond those feet, and I think you can see the feet there, and I think that gives us a good indication of that we're looking at a pretty short-tailed bird here.
Yeah.
Because even if it was foreshortened, that tail would appear like it's a little bit longer. So, Crested caracara ruled out there. Bill is also wrong for Crested caracara. It does have more of a traditional kind of stout hooked raptor bill.
Now, we get to the two vultures. They're common across the entire southern part of the ABA area, much more so in the east. And really, now it becomes much easier because turkey vulture, even at this angle, we can see the white on the underside of the primaries, and we can see that there is none of that silvery flash on the secondaries. It's really just contained to the primaries, and that plus the short tail and the feet sticking out. We're looking at a black vulture, and we got a couple people. We got Debbie and John on Facebook who got it right away.
Yep. You got it right away. Yeah, black vulture, extremely common in the southeast. Where I live in North Carolina, it's probably, this time of year, there are more black vultures than turkey vultures out there. And part of that is because black vultures tend to congregate in small groups much more commonly than turkey vulture. Turkey vulture is very much kind of a solitary bird, unless they're, on a dead animal. But black vulture, they are always in like parties of 3 or 4 or 5, or, congregating on cell phone towers and like really impressive numbers. But they're very uniquely shaped when it comes to raptors. They've got that short stubby tail. They've got those pale legs that you can frequently see. Long neck, the neck kind of sticks way out, and it's got this kind of weird compressed body and these big broad wings.
Yeah.
And they do this thing where when they're soaring or when they're making actually good time, where they kind of flick their wrists back, and they do make the wings look like it's almost pointed instead of broad, but they always have those silvery wingtips, and they flap a lot too. They flap a lot more than turkey vultures. They've got this kind of choppy wing beat that's very distinctive and awkward, and they're just funky birds.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, I was doing some
technical
things here.
We got people talking to us on all sorts of.
We got people talking to us. I got 3 monitors going at the same time, and yes, as Nate was saying, we got people talking to us. You guys on Facebook, I'm watching the comments in Facebook. So if you got something you want to say, question, whatever, drop it there. YouTube, same thing. I understand the YouTube comments. YouTube comments are going, so that's awesome.
They're always going.
Yeah, let's
doing well on YouTube.
Let's jump into our next birds now, Nate. let's just cut to the chase on this one. These are sandpipers, obviously, long bills, standing in the water, long legs.
Pipe and sand, busy piping.
Pipe and sand. But these are Dowitchers.
Oh, we're gonna jump all the way there.
We're gonna jump all the way there.
So
the color.
I'll give a quick background. We got time to kill, Greg. We got nothing but time.
We got nothing but time.
So when we're talking about sandpipers, we sort of like to break them down into genus and to genera, into their groups there. So you've got your Peeps, which is your little calidrous pipers, famous, long-bodied, short-necked, reasonably long bills, kind of short-legged. They're running around on mud flats, on beaches, on rocks sometimes. Definitely not these birds. Then you've got your kind of marsh pipers, your Tringa sandpipers, which are these kind of longer, lanky birds with longer necks and kind of very thin bills and long legs. Think of your yellow legs, your solitary sandpiper. Willet is a Tringa now.
Yeah.
That bird gets moved around all the time.
Yeah.
That's right. It's between the yellow legs taxonomically. So yeah, kind of long. They're all kind of the same kind of shape, even though Willet is not really well, I guess it breeds in the marsh, even though it spends a lot of time on the beach during the winter months. But these are not those birds. These are kind of dumpy, large-bodied. I apologize to these birds for calling them dumpy. But the kind of the main field mark we're seeing here is they all have these kind of extremely long bills. And these are, the 3 worldwide species of the Dowitchers, as Greg said, 2 of which are in North America, 2 of which are likely to be seen in Minnesota. The only one that's not is the Asian Dowitcher, which I don't think has ever been recorded in North America yet.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it has yet. But anyway,
so.
Short-billed and long-billed Dowitcher are both our North American Dowitchers. And to be honest, for my money, I think the most difficult identification pair in North America. Like, move over Empids, move over Gulls. Dowitchers are tougher than all of them.
I will say 2 things about that. One, I agree with you. There are certain summer gulls that are almost unidentifiable. But we have exactly
breeding season.
But there's a lot of Dowitchers that are unidentifiable.
Yeah.
At least the way that birders get to see them, because it's one of the reasons I picked this picture is because we can see these birds pretty darn clearly. This is a great photo. We see the back and the front. It's an awesome picture. But I will say that all the time we've been doing these shows, I've kind of avoided the Dowitchers.
we've done, like, I can remember we did a
fall Dowitcher last year.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Dowitchers that show up in What's This Bird, and I will say that it's not 100% active. There's a part of my brain back there that's just like, yeah, no, you know what? I'm not prepared to go into this on this one.
I'm fortunate in the Southeast because long-billed Dowitcher is an annual bird here, but it's actually kind of an uncommon bird here. So if you just want to see a Dowitcher, and you frequently do on the coast of North Carolina, all along the Southeast, and you would just want to call it kind of a short-billed Dowitcher, unless you are otherwise inclined to see something slightly different. You're probably okay. You're probably going to be right 90% of the time, because short-billed Dowitcher is by far the most common of the 2.
Yeah.
But in the Midwest, that's where the long-billed Dowitchers migrate. They migrate primarily through the center of the continent, and you're inclined to encounter both of them. And then you've got different subspecies of the short-billed Dowitcher. So the Dowitchers that I see moving through,
and we're gonna get into all of it.
We're gonna do all of it. Oh my goodness.
Yep, we're gonna get into all of it. So
Chris Ortega points out that Alvaro, our friend Alvaro Jaramillo, leaves extremely well photographed gulls unidentified on at least a semi-regular basis.
Oh yeah,
that's how I feel about Dowitchers too, to be completely honest.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump in and let's do what we can with Dowitchers for today.
So what do we look at when we have Dowitchers, especially Dowitchers that are seen as well as this one? I like to look at
these
the
two.
flanks.
These
That's
two.
where I start.
Yeah, I tend to look at the back and
flanks in the face.
But really, as with so many birds, and you brought up Empids, and Empids for sure. You want to take a kind of a holistic approach. You really want to you want to get the gist of the bird, the gestalt, and the same thing holds true with long-billed. I mean, on average, long-billed has a longer bill. That's why it has the name.
There's significant overlap, though.
There is significant overlap.
Shorebirds are funky because the males and females have different length bills, generally speaking. And
absolutely.
So you've got overlap between like long-billed, or short-billed long-bills and long-billed short. That's a very confusing statement. I just realized as I was halfway through it. But
yes.
Yeah.
But on average, and we're talking about spring birds here, and these are all nicely plumaged spring birds that
Yes. Thank goodness.
that you really don't get to see very much, which is one of the reasons that Dowitchers are so difficult, because they're coming in and they've got leftover wing coverts or scapulars or stuff. They're a blotchy mess of pattern, and you have to try then to like look at individual tracks of feathers, and it can be very difficult. But there are some things that hold true. On the left, you can see the long-billed Dowitchers. They have more black in the pattern of the individual feathers on the mantle, particularly
generally
the back.
speaking, they're darker. Yeah.
So you see more like rusty, buffy, any other color than black and white. And the long-bills tend to look more black and white, more spangled. And that's especially true as you kind of move down the wing panel. You'll see that there's more black and white in that wing panel than there is in the central subspecies and the Pacific subspecies of short-billed Dowitcher. You see that really they look they look more buffy, rusty-ish all over.
Totally agree. Just want to pause because it's really easy to say short-billed when we mean long-billed and long-billed when we mean short-billed.
Yes.
So just to reiterate, long-billed Dowitchers, generally more black and white, more kind of spangly.
Yes.
Short-billed Dowitcher, generally more buffy, more color in the back.
Yes.
So I'm just clarifying for the sake of
our
listeners.
No, yeah, we're definitely gonna mess up on that one. So
I think that's half the problem with Dowitchers is that sometimes you say short billed when you mean long, and long billed when you mean short.
Yes. So. And there's other differences. So you see, there's three different subspecies groups. You've got the eastern, the central, the oh gosh, I want to say Hudson. It's not. It's it starts with an H. Hendersoni. Thank you. And then you've got the Pacific, and the Pacific short-billed is in a lot of ways the most similar to most long-bills. It tends to be darker, and the pattern overall, pattern overall has got more black, and then the chest. It tends to be a little bit more like a long build. But a couple of things that, again, looking at this holistically, starting with the eastern short build at the top right, you see it's got a lot of rufous around the face and the breast, but then it kind of pales as we get down into the belly, and especially the lower belly. It's got a lot of whitish, and the pattern sort of goes from spots to these little chevrons as you go down the bottom. And long-billed doesn't really show that ever. And in the Pacific, to jump to the bottom, Pacific birds also have that white lower belly. And so that coupled with the overall look of the back, that's a big help. The central birds, the Hendersoni, they're nice and richly colored all over. But actually, that's very helpful because they have a lot less of that black and white that's so prevalent on the back of a long-billed Dowitcher.
For sure. I should also point out that Dowitcher identification is still, in some ways, kind of in its infancy. Like, people are always trying to figure out new ways to identify these birds, and a lot of the really kind of early groundbreaking work was published in the pages of Birding magazine.
Yes, it was.
One of the membership benefits that you get with the membership to the American Birding Association, and all that stuff is available online. We have all of our older birding magazines. We have all of our an ID Vault, which is a resource that Greg has done a ton of work putting together. It's a place where you can basically search for articles and ABA publications about various species, and you can get kind of insight into the changing attitudes towards those identifications and all the tips that people were coming up with. It's a really fantastic resource and a really great way to learn about Dowitcher identification. I want to thank Carl Bendorf for noting that.
And yeah, all of those documents are PDFs that you can download and store on your
Put
local
them on your reader. Yep.
Put them on your reader and just run through all of those.
Enjoy. Zoom in a way that you can't on the magazines.
That's true.
Great photos in those.
So one other thing about the Dowitchers, and this is something that some field guides point out and some don't. I find it to be actually pretty useful a lot of the time. It's one of those field marks that when it works, it works. When it doesn't, you just don't even try. And that is, you'll notice the two little silhouettes on the right side there, long-billed at the top and short-billed on the bottom. When the birds are actively feeding, like these two are, short-billed tends to have a much flatter back. Long-billed looks like it swallowed a grapefruit. It's got this
they're chunky.
This hump back, and when you've got them feeding together, you will notice that eventually. Like I said, it's not 100%, but when you see it, you see it. And if you don't see it, don't try to force it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just responding to a comment on YouTube. Thanks, David. Colin Conroy says he timed the wrong. We're about to finish and not about to start. No, sir. We are in it. We are in the middle of it.
Oh yeah,
right now. And I want to just pause right now to thank the people that have joined the ABA since we started.
Yep.
Doing this program. Joyce from Gray, Maine. Sherry from Silver City, New Mexico, and Van. That is Van Remsen, the one of the most influential ornithologists of the 20th and 21st century. Absolutely. From San Gabriel, Louisiana. Thanks to all of you for joining the ABA or renewing a membership after a long period.
Yeah. And that's, where the $100 matches are building up there. They're rolling in. So hit that.
Like a shrike building its larder.
Get to ABA.
I'm trying to come up with
that's okay, man.
Metaphors.
Get over to aba.org/join, and you will see everything that there is to see about what is awesome about an ABA membership. I'm stumbling over my words right now, but that's fine. We are going to take a second break here, and we'll be back in a minute, so you guys hang loose.
Hi, I'm Emmy, and I'm a member of the American Birding Association. While birds have always been a presence in my life, I really started to get into birding during the pandemic. The American Birding Association was one of the first resources I found as a new birder. I think the thing I love about the ABA so much is the community. ABA community is really special because everybody is in a position to try to help others out. We all love birds and birding so much. If you're looking for a community that supports beginners on their birding journey, then you should definitely join the ABA. Membership includes benefits like Birding Magazine. You can go to aba.org/membership to join. And there you have it.
Thank you, Emmy. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thanks to those of you who sent in your videos. That's fantastic. We love seeing those. Love seeing the community. Sometimes, we are an organization that is decentralized, so we are all over the place. I'm in North Carolina. Greg's in Illinois. Our executive director Wayne is in Maryland. We've got people in Minnesota and California, in all parts of the in Pennsylvania, in Colorado, in all parts of the continent, and we are all kind of separated, but it is fantastic to see all these people who are part of our greater birding community, and that's part of why we do this, because that community is really special to me. It's been fantastic for me for my birding journey. I was a person that got an ABA scholarship when I was a young birder to go to one of those young birder camps, and look at me now talking about birds on the internet.
Yeah.
Who would have known? That wasn't even a thing when we started.
All right. So for this next bit, you guys, you may want to turn your volume up a little bit.
Turn it up.
We tested
Crank
this.
it.
We tested this a little bit. Not too much. You don't want to blast yourself out of your room. We tested this a little bit earlier, and it's a little soft. But the last thing about Dowitchers is the voice. If you can hear them, they have different voices, and that's one of the best ways to tell them apart. So now I'm going to play long-billed Dowitcher, and so get your ears in there, and here we go. Okay. So we can hear
Turn your volume down
it's kind
now.
of well, we're gonna do another one here. It's kind of
Chittery.
a
Chittery twittery thing.
yeah, it's a very exactly chittery twittery. That's a really good description for it. So now we're gonna go to short build, and again, listen in close. And what we're listening for here is that short build has a deeper, kind of more tremulous voice, and a little slower, not so agitated and excited sounding. Whoops.
That was the wrong button, Greg.
I know. Hang on. Oh, looks like we lost Keynote here. Hang on.
I still see it.
No, it bonked. Don't worry, we're gonna.
No, Chris, there was no short-billed Dowitcher.
There was
sound.
no short-billed
People were
Dowitcher sound. You guys, hang on. We lost.
Well, Greg figures it out. I want to thank
there's
at
nothing.
BD Porter in the YouTube comments who had a membership that was not going to renew in some time and ended up upgrading their membership, which starts immediately. Thanks, Steve. So thank you so much to BD Porter for that.
Okay.
Marcia Balestri also asks about the kink in the bill. Difference between long-billed Dowitcher and short-billed Dowitcher. I recall there being an article in Birding Magazine some time ago that kind of talked a little bit about that. I am not sure how reliable that is, or is considered anymore. Because as you can see in some of these photos, long-billed Dowitcher definitely has kind of a kink there towards the last 4/5 of the bill. But some of these short-billed Dowitchers have something very similar as well.
They do, and it's super duper subtle. There's a kink versus a droop, and when the birds are actively feeding, it's almost impossible to see when they're moving around, and that's really why I didn't bring it up, because in the images we're looking at here, you can't. It's really hard to tell, but there is a certain amount of truth to that. I think in the article that we referenced earlier in Birding Magazine, that it's mentioned there, or if you have the wonderful Shorebird Guide, it is.
Oh yeah, great book.
it is gone over in that book as well. All right, I'm going to try playing the short-billed Dowitcher again and see if it doesn't.
No one heard the long-billed.
All right. Well, we may not. You know what? We may just move past that for now, because it seems like that's not. Oh, there you go.
Does that work?
Is that long build? Yeah.
That's long build. Chittery twittery.
All right. Give us a short build now.
Thanks, Sibley app.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. There.
222.
Yep.
I don't know if that worked.
All right, Nate calling an audible there. No, I heard it. That's great. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cell phones.
Yeah. All right. Now let's go to Jersey.
Jersey.
We got a bird in a tree. This is the time of year when you break your neck looking at birds like this.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite time of year.
It is mine. Although I gotta say, we had this conversation a while back on one of these programs. Like, what is your favorite time of year to go birding? And
that's a take we're going to talk about on Take It or Leave It.
Okay.
Actually,
should I
table it? You can give it. You can give your opinion.
Can I give mine now and just see if
of course,
if Martha or Nick or you guys agree with me?
Yeah, go for it.
For me, living in the Western Great Lakes, it's November, December. It just, but
it's a good time of year.
Yeah,
it's a good time. It's good down here too. I mean, that's rarity season on the east.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
So here we are with a little bird up in the tree. What do we got, Nate?
We have some sort of perching bird here, Greg. Looks like it's got a lot of yellow on the front of it. It looks like it's got yellow eye rings, even.
Yeah.
Or eye crescents or eye somethings. It's got yellow around the eye, that's for sure.
Yep.
It looks like, is that? I like that pointer there, Greg. We haven't really had that before. That's nice.
Oh, well, that's just that.
I like
I
it.
said,
we should use that more.
Well, if I can make it happen on a regular basis, maybe.
Anyway, and I see wing bars. I see at least one wing bar.
Yeah.
I see very long wings. So this is kind of a migratory, long distance migrant, I would guess.
Yeah.
Tail is short.
Yeah.
I mean, look at those undertail coverts. They go all the way to the tips of the wings, and those wings are long, and the tail is just like little dinky things sticking out there.
Yeah.
Pretty chunky bill. This definitely fits in sort of the warbler / Vireo / perching bird working its way across the top of the trees sort of area. And we talk a lot about warbler versus Vireo. For a long time in your field guides, if you have some older field guides, they were put right next to each other because they were thought to be kind of closely related to each other. Turns out they're not.
No.
Like at all.
Not at all.
And Vireos are more closely related to like shrikes and things like that, which when you look at their bill, that definitely makes a lot of sense. But in any case, this looks like a pretty chonky bill. It's hard to make a lot out of it, but it is pretty broad based. I can't really tell whether it's got a hook at the end. That's kind of difficult. Maybe it does, but the photo is not super sharp, so it's hard to get a sense of it. But it is pretty broad and pretty thick. A lot of yellow, a lot of white underneath it.
Yes.
Look at all that white on the belly and on the undertail coverts. I can think of a couple birds that we need to talk about here that are mostly yellow with eye rings and wing bars.
Yep.
And they're both in those kind of warbler Vireo family. So the two that come to mind immediately for me is pine warbler, which is kind of a catch-all for I don't know what this bird is.
Yeah.
And yellow-throated warbler. Yellow-throated Vireo. Oh, look at all those yellow warblers.
Oh, yeah, there's a few others.
There's a few others that you want to talk about. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's work our way through them.
Right. Well, I think the first one we can toss out is yellow warbler, because yellow warbler is yellow. That is an accurately named bird.
It's also northern yellow warbler.
That's right. It is northern yellow warbler. I forgot to put the northern in there.
I will not get used to that.
I will not get used to that either. But yes, northern yellow warbler, split from the mangrove yellow warbler, which is found in South Texas and sometimes Florida.
Yeah, Caribbean, Central American kind of subspecies.
Yeah, cool bird. Which actually we had mangrove yellow warbler in our last episode of What's This Bird Live.
We did. That's right.
Because of a prothonotary that had pollen all over its face.
That's right. We talked about that.
Yeah. All right. So yellow warbler, it's not a yellow warbler. But the other birds we're looking at here, blue-winged, yellow-throated Vireo prothonotary especially, they all have bright yellow throats and white undertail coverts.
Indeed.
And so let's actually go ahead.
Those blinding white undertail coverts are such an important part to talk about this bird, because there's a lot of white on this bird.
Yes.
And pine warbler, as weird as it is, as common as it is, as frequently as it turns up in What's This Bird conversations and in the What's This Bird group, a lot of yellow underneath it. A lot of kind of, even if it does get sort of pale towards the undertail coverts, it is pretty much all yellow underneath. And it's even though it's got that big old thick bill, and it's got eye crescents, and it's got wing bars.
Yep.
All that yellow underneath, and kind of the longish looking tail as well.
Exactly.
Kind of rules it out for this bird.
Exactly. Looking at the other three that we have here, I want to kind of focus on that tail a little bit. And this is something that I've noticed about yellow-throated vireos, but never really kind of thought of it as a field mark. But the tail looks almost like an afterthought on yellow-throated vireo.
Yeah,
it's just like it was like a pin the tail on a donkey thing.
Yeah, like the bird is so big and long,
it's robust.
And then the tail is it's like front heavy.
Yeah.
Big old head and a big old chest. Yeah.
Prothonotary warbler has a unique tail. It has a very sturdy, uniquely shaped tail. With white that goes out in the tail, more than any. I mean, the only other ones really are magnolia and cerulean that have, I think, that much white in the tail. Blue-winged warbler, we can see. Blue-winged warbler has a very thin, very pointy bill, but we can see this bird's eye pretty clearly. And it's got a yellowish eye ring and yellow around the eye, and blue wing we can get out the door. because we don't see that black line going through the eye, which at this
the
angle,
mask. Yeah,
at this angle would
you should be able to see.
You'd be able to see it. You know, now prothonotary and yellow-throated vireo from below, like I said, the tail is distinctive in a prothonotary, but in this bird too, as Nate pointed out at the beginning, we can see a wing bar, which prothonotary does not have.
Does not have, yeah, and I always think of prothonotary warbler as sort of a very uniquely shaped warbler. It's really compact, it's really kind of chunky, and it's got a really big, long, sharp kind of railroad spike of a bill.
It does.
That is really unique among. I mean, the only thing that's sort of similarly shaped are some of the other kind of swampy warblers, like Swainson's or
worm eating
or worm eating. Similar to shaped, obviously very very different in terms of color. Yeah, so this one doesn't seem like it has that kind of long bill. And the shape is very different. As I said, prothonotary warbler, quite compact, short body, big head. This bird's kind of long and lanky. It does give a very Vireo impression, which are all sort of long and lanky songbirds that move slowly through the trees.
And that's, I was just going to point that out. You know, when you're,
we can't see here, but that's something to keep in mind.
We can't see the bird in motion, and that is one of the, for the larger vireos, red-eyed and yellow-throated, they're slow-moving birds. They move through the branches slowly. They're very methodical. Even the smaller ones like Philadelphia vireo move through the treetops slower than a blue-winged warbler by comparison.
Just not any warbler
would be. I mean, it would look extremely dialed up.
Frantic, yeah. Even by warbler standards, blue wings are little frantic guys.
I am. Hang on here. I'm just doing some stuff, and get back to what we're doing here. There we go. So yeah, we have a yellow-throated vireo here, and let's get on to our next bird.
Hey, before we do, can I make a shout out to someone who joined the
shout out?
Yeah, Daniel from Villarica. Is that what it is?
It's in Georgia.
Villarica, Georgia.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got it over here and it's on my phone. I probably should have brought my glasses.
You need your glasses, Nate. You're welcome to the old man world now. Yeah. All right. Well, Nate's digging for his glasses. Here we've got another sandpiper that is doing sandpiper things.
I don't know where they are.
Is doing sandpiper things.
Sandpiper. Yep. So we talked about our sandpiper genera.
Yep.
A little bit earlier, and we can kind of break them down. This is not a Dowitcher. Obviously.
No, this is not a Dowitcher.
This is not a Tringa. This is not a marsh piper. It's not like a surf bird or a turnstone or any of the weirdos. Oh, did we say about the Dowitchers? We have a question. Did we talk about the Dowitchers? What those Dowitchers were? They were short billed.
They were short billed. Yeah.
Yeah, they were short billed.
Yeah.
Yeah, short billed Dowitcher.
Yes.
Tonight. Sorry about that if we forgot. Let's see here. So what we've got is we've got a Peep. We've got a calidrus.
Yeah.
Sort of a large group of mostly grayish brown shorebirds that are popping around on mudflats or short grass near mudflats, sometimes beaches. So they're another kind of difficult identification challenge that a lot of people have anxiety over. So we'll try and assuage a little bit of that here.
Yeah, the first one we can get rid of for several reasons is sanderling. One, the habitat is wrong for sanderling, but we don't know. This looks like it's a beach actually. That looks like that sand under the water there.
Yeah.
But we can see this bird has a hallux or rear toe, and sanderling does not have that. So sanderling is right out the door.
Yeah, and sanderling in all plumages generally doesn't have this sort of strongly, grayish brown back and white belly sort of look that we associate with calidrus pipers. They are in the spring. They are extremely like reddish.
Bright.
Like they get very red and brightly colored. Really cool looking sandpiper. And in the winter, they are just really, really pale. Not a lot of pattern on their back unless they're kind of younger birds. But from a distance, they generally look like kind of extremely white or pale gray sandpipers running around on the beaches. So they never really kind of look like these birds, which I usually associate with sort of the, I don't know, the least least pipers, the semi-palmated western white-rumped Baird's kind of group of sandpipers. They're kind of different.
Yeah, so sorry, I got lost in a little bit of a technical screen issue there.
I know we got people coming in for the next thing.
Yeah. No, we're good. Yeah, we got Nick Lund and Martha Harbison waiting in the green room for our next show here. Okay. So we got a little sandpiper in the water. We know it's not a sanderling. We know that it's not a least sandpiper. We know it's not a pectoral sandpiper because both of those have yellow legs, and this bird has dark legs.
Does not have yellow legs.
We're not going to talk about stints and things that are really rare like that. So really, we're kind of now left. We're left with semi-palmated western white-rumped and Baird's, and so let's take a look at those and see if we can identify this bird. Actually, I know we can. So, starting up at the top there with semi-palmated. Semi-palmated is sort of the least colorful of all of these birds. And
it's a good place to start for this discussion because it's like very generic in all sort of manners.
It is. And, one of the best ways to tell all of these birds apart is by the bill. But we can't see this bird's bill, really. It's in the water. But semi-palmated is a short, squat, stout, short-billed bird, usually very grayish. Sometimes they can get some color on the head and the back, especially really fresh birds in the fall. But typically, they are our grayest, most nondescript peep all the time. Western sandpiper tends to be our palest. It tends to be whiter overall, more of a face pattern. But in the spring, actually most of the year, it shows the rufous on the scapulars and rufous on the cap. And
on the shoulder is always like a great field mark for this bird. Most times that you're likely to see it, it usually has a little bit of color on that wing, on that shoulder of the wing, and that's good sign for Western sandpiper for sure.
Yeah, and then we get to the two sort of grass peeps, as we call them, and of those two, we can rule out Baird's right away because Baird's doesn't have any streaking on the flank, which we can see pretty clearly, but B, it's a unique color. It's this kind of really pretty beige and big black spangles on the back.
Definitely,
it gives it a real unique appearance. But it's got those long wings that we can kind of see there in the top inset. But it doesn't have anything else going on that would make us think that that's a Baird sandpiper. So Western and white-rumped, they both have the rufous on the shoulder. They both have some rufous in the cap. White-rumped tends to be a bit darker, but there's a lot of variation there. But there's two things that are heavily leaning white-rumped on this bird, and one is slam dunk. The second inset, you'll see I've got the wings magnified
the wings are so
there.
long.
You see how far the wings project beyond the tail.
Yeah.
And that is white-rumped and Baird's, both those two birds have those long wings.
Long distance migrants.
Yes.
Yeah. They almost appear very pointy.
Yes.
Whereas semi-palmated and Western almost look kind of blunt at the end, at the tail end. Whereas white-rumped with those wings that go well beyond the tail length and sometimes are even kind of crisscrossed. They give the impression of a very, very long bird that is pointy on the tips, which is sort of what I always think out when I see a white-rumped sandpiper.
Yep. And then the last,
or Baird's for that matter.
Yeah. And then the last thing, I said before we couldn't see the bill, but actually we can, and we can see the most important thing. We can see the most important thing on this bird's bill, and that is that it's got this little reddish patch right at the base of the mandible. And there's really only 2 of our shorebirds have that, and those are pectoral and white-rumped. And so yeah, if you see one that's got that little reddish patch right at the base there, it's got to be one of those 2.
This has got black legs,
and it's got black legs, so it's got to be white-rumped. Yep. So that's our bird. There is a white-rumped sandpiper.
White-rumped. We did it.
No,
we worked our way through we worked our way through the peeps.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. So this one comes from Texas, and I really enjoyed this one quite a bit.
It's a weird photo.
It's a weird photo.
Big gray birds sitting on a manicured lawn, Greg. They have to be rock pigeons.
Lounging in the backyard.
That's the only thing they can be.
I mean, really, there's there's a few choices here, but it's got to be, or maybe a leucistic grackle.
Yeah, why not?
But
it's Texas. Anything can
2
happen.
leucistic grackles? That's kind of... What? Really?
No one wants to guess? Yeah. We got a lot of options here.
We've got options here, but actually there's only so
I like the pigeon option, Greg.
I like the pigeon option.
Pigeons are notoriously they are chimeras. They can look like anything. They can look like a Jaeger. They can look like a gull. They can look like a raptor. They can look like just about like a perching bird. Well, maybe not a perching bird, but any sort of largish bird.
Yeah,
like a pigeon has looked like that at some point during when I've seen them. And you know that first kind of impulse to identify a bird. You always got to be a little careful when there are pigeons around, because you can be wrong with those birds, because they are everywhere and they look like anything.
Yeah, and boy, I'll tell you, I think maybe I haven't mentioned to you before. I mean, we've done so many of these, I can't remember what I mentioned to you before and what I haven't, but that doesn't matter. It's all new to most of the people out there watching. I got totally sandbagged by a rock pigeon out in the middle of this huge prairie in northern Illinois with some just perfect shorebird habitat way out in the middle of it. We hiked out there in the August heat, and we're trying to identify shorebirds through the heat waves, and a rock pigeon just came zooming in and landed in the water with the shorebirds, all by itself. And me and the other 2 people there were just like, for the first 3-4 seconds were like, what? We had no idea what it was. And then we're like, oh geez, what the heck? And where it came from, I don't know.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
that's what they do. That's what rock pigeons do better than just about any other bird on the continent, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the shape, the long body and the small head, and I mean that all fits these birds. There's a lot going on there. But if we take a step down there and look at Mississippi kite, I think everybody will agree that those are 2 Mississippi kites standing.
We're going to work our way through them?
Standing in the grass. Well, because as soon as we get down to that, we can see it's not a grackle. I mean, there's a perfect match there.
But there's some other shorebirds or other raptors that are sort of worth talking about. Mississippi kites in particular are they're very unique. Even none of our kites are all that closely related to each other, which is a funny taxonomic I don't know, piece of trivia information. We have 5 species of kites that regularly occur in the ABA area, and they're all in different genera, and none of them are that closely related to each other, even though Mississippi kite and white-tailed kite, or white-tailed kite, look sort of vaguely similar. So small little bill, gray with the black wingtips. We can't really see it, but they've got these really cool red eyes.
Yeah.
That push through, and a lot of those things are different than a lot of our kind of grayish raptors. Peregrine falcon would be a little more well patterned on the breast, and of course they've got that kind of classic
helmet,
executioner's cowl, the helmet, centurion's helmet kind of look of a peregrine falcon. They're also super bulky and big chested. If you ever get a good look at a peregrine falcon, they're kind of very uniquely shaped. All those big falcons are. American kestrel, quite small, usually has some great markings on the face and a little bit more color than this. Even the females, which are not overly bright, they will have a little more color than this sort of all gray bird that's sitting on this patch. And of course, our most famous gray raptor, the adult male Northern Harrier.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to talk about them.
Well,
they've long-legged.
They are long-legged, long-tailed, long-winged, just like everything we're seeing here. But the situation really tells a lot of this story here. And it's something that really our friends in Texas and maybe Oklahoma are the only ones who get to experience this, but especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where Mississippi kites are pretty common backyard nesting birds. Our colleague Michael Redder has them nesting in his backyard. But I've seen plenty of raptors on the ground bathing or picking apart something they've killed.
Yeah.
What you don't see is a handful of Northern Harriers or peregrine falcons lounging on the lawn like gulls. And this is something that Mississippi kites do. If you start Googling up Mississippi kites and go through the images, you will eventually find pictures of them communally bathing at a creek or just like spread out lounging on a lawn, and not like one or two, like 6 or 10 of them. And they just do that. And it's
Mississippi, it's such a cool bird.
It is such a cool bird.
They have such a weird distribution where I live in the southeast. They like to nest in towns, so they like kind of open agriculture areas, but they nest in like large trees. So they'll find like the oldest neighborhood in a town with those big established oak trees or elm trees or what have you.
Yeah,
and they'll nest there. And then when they forage in the morning, they'll pop up and they'll start foraging for big flying insects because that's what they primarily eat. And they just like start spiraling up to heights that you can't even see them anymore. They're so cool. I don't get to see it. Well, I mean, they nest in my town, and I don't get to see them all that often. Even though they'll fly around because they don't go out when they forage, they go up when they forage.
Dragonflies and chimney swifts are two of their favorite.
Chimney swifts.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah. There was I didn't know that about them, but there was a pair that nested for several years over the parking lot of a grade school in Rockford, Illinois, near the Rock River, and the ground underneath their nest was littered with chimney swift parts.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the aerial skills it takes to catch a chimney swift.
No joke.
And not just catch one, but catch enough to actually make a meal out of them and feed your kids. I mean, that's some serious skills there.
That's cool stuff.
And
I love it.
It is one of my favorite birds, and one of the hardest. Well, they show up regularly at our hawk watches in the late summer, very early autumn, and I have never seen one in northern Illinois. And last year there was a day, I think it was late August. It was hotter than hell, I remember, and they were popping up. There were two on the lakefront, and there was one seen on the Des Plaines River not far from my house. And I thought, all right, if I'm ever going to get Mississippi kite as a yard bird, today's the day. And I sat out there sweating half of myself away, and darn it, if a Mississippi kite didn't go over my house. It was it was just phenomenal, just absolutely.
Yeah, I had one in my new neighborhood last year, so that was cool. Yeah.
Okay. Guess what, Nate?
We did it. We got it.
We did it again.
Greg.
We did it again. So yeah, hey, you guys, we are doing a membership drive today. And right below me there, you'll see aba.org/join. Go over there and become a member today. If you do, you will trigger.
Read your name out.
We'll not only read your name out. If you join today, you will trigger a $100 matching gift from a very generous board member. And so, yeah, you can start. And hey, for those of you who are under 23, get a Young Birder membership. I just really learned about...
Get the Young Birder membership.
Yeah, I just learned about that last year, strangely enough. I don't know. There's too many things to pay attention to. But the Young Birder, if you're under 23, the Young Birder membership is a phenomenal deal. It's $20, and you get the full-blown $80 membership with both magazines, all of it, just everything.
Right to your
mailbox. Yeah, absolutely. And other things you get,
slot. whatever mail situation.
Yes, it will come to your mail situation. Wait, that didn't come out right.
Oh wait, yeah. Give me a second on that one.
Yeah, you gotta come
to your mail.
Yeah, Nate, let's just move on. Just let's go. You also get access to ABA Community, which is our private social media platform for ABA members. It also is our member directory, so you can find birders that are near you, or if you're traveling, you can message birders who you live in Arizona and you're looking for some birds. You can find some people to help you find five-striped sparrow and things like that. And
Mississippi kite
or Mississippi kite. Yeah.
You probably get it just driving around Dallas.
Yeah, and so we have, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, we have Martha Harbison and Nick Lund standing by in the green room for an episode of Take It or Leave It. And so we're going to get to that in just a minute.
Yeah, well, so just want to remind people that we are doing an ABA membership drive. One of those old-fashioned. We're on the air for I don't know as long as it takes to do the thing.
We're here for your afternoon.
We're here for your afternoon to talk birds and birding. The American Birding I'm the host of the American Birding Podcast, if you don't already know. And one of the things that we do regularly is a Take It or Leave It episode, which basically is all of your birding hot takes. And then we decide, well, it's pretty simple. We take them or you leave them. You agree with them or disagree with them. I've got two of my favorite opinion havers lined up to talk bird hot takes and a long list of fabulous takes. And you can share those with us too. If you've got some hot takes of your own, go ahead and throw them in the comments, and we might discuss them live on the. It's not really on the air, on the internet, and we'll get there. But that'll be coming up next. And
they can. And
what's after that?
Like I said, well, I know that Martha and Nick are watching us right now. And before you guys got in here, I dropped my hot take. Nate said you're going to talk about what's your favorite month to bird in, and mine is November. So you can take that or leave it.
You can take it. And I'll tell you where. I know
exactly. All right, so we'll be back in just a few minutes here. Nate, find your glasses.
Yeah, I got to use the bathroom too. So we'll be back shortly.
Okay.
See you in a little bit, guys.
All right.
Hi, I'm Wayne Klockner, Executive Director of the American Birding Association. And I'm here this morning at Mount Auburn Cemetery, one of the great birding hotspots outside of Boston. Please consider joining me to build a vibrant and supportive birding community through a membership in the ABA. As a preteen, I came to rely on the ABA for bird ID tips, places to chase rarities, and most important, ways to connect with fellow birders. You can become a member of the ABA at aba.org/join and join the continent-wide movement for birds and birding. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Michael Rutter. I'm here at Moraine View State Park in central Illinois, which is where I grew up. I used to wander through these woods with my grandpa, foraging, looking for morels and berries. I've always been really interested in nature and birds in particular, but I didn't know any other birders growing up. And one day I found instructions in the back of a field guide for how to write to and join the American Birding Association. So I talked to my mom and she wrote a check and we mailed it off. And just about a week later, I got a package in the mail with 3 publications in it, all of which would prove to be life-changing for me. One was Birding Magazine. One was, sorry, there's a great cheek thrush there. One was Birding Magazine. One was Field Notes Magazine, which is now called North American Birds. And the other was the ABA membership directory. I looked in it and I couldn't believe that there were other birders within a 10 or 15 minute drive of the tiny little town that I grew up in. So I contacted them and they invited me to attend bird walks that were put on by the local Audubon Society, which is now the local Bird Alliance. And I met amazing people there who taught me a ton, including a couple people who became birding mentors of mine, Dale Birkenholz and Matt Fraker. ABA taught me that if I wanted to find a bird that I'd never seen before, I needed to come here to the tall grass prairie. So one day I asked my grandma if she would drive me out here, and right away we found a dickcissel. The ABA's youth birder program gave me opportunities to travel and make new friends via scholarships that I was granted to attend young birder camps in places like Arizona and Colorado. They were incredible experiences that really did change my life. Later, some of those friends and I traveled together on road trips across the US and even into Mexico. And some of them are still my closest friends to this day. I also wrote articles for ABA's student newsletter, also part of its youth birder program, and attended the youth birding tracks at some of its annual meetings, which is where I met Ted Floyd, the editor of Birding Magazine, and Ned Brinkley, the editor of North American Birds. 20 years later, I'm speaking to you now as the editor of North American Birds and as the editor of special issues of Birding Magazine and the author of the ABA Field Guide to Birds of Illinois, which has a very special bird on the cover. Of course, ABA is about birds, but more importantly, I think it's about birders and the connections that we make with each other. That's why I'm here at Ewing Park in Bloomington, helping to lead a bird walk for the Grand Prairie Bird Alliance this morning. You can join the American Birding Association's community of birders all across Canada and the United States by going to aba.org/membership. Membership starts at just $30 a year. I hope you'll join us. Thanks.
Yes.
That intro, I love
What an
it.
intro. What an intro.
For that. I think that's my first ever intro of any kind.
You did it. You made it.
I love
You
it.
really hit the big time, Nick.
I love it. I love an intro.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a live version of the American Birding Podcast segment, Take It or Leave It, wherein I give my exalted opinion havers here some bird hot takes, and then we take them or leave them, and then hopefully we have some discussion about it. I want to introduce these people to you. First up from Maine, Audubon. He is the birdist. He is the people's champion. That's PEEP champion. Nick Lund. How you doing, Nick? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. It's 90 degrees here in Maine for no reason. We're all sweating. I slept for 3 hours. I'm not as sunburned as you are. I don't know what's going on, but I'm feeling ready to roll.
I've been out a lot. Yeah.
You've been too close to these hot takes that we got.
That's absolutely that's an occupational hazard of what we're dealing with here. And up next from Audubon National, a phenomenal take haver and one of my favorite people on this month in birding. It is Martha Harbison. How are you, Martha? How are you doing? Is it hot where you are too?
It's gross. I had to turn on my air conditioning, mostly to make sure that I wasn't going to sweat to death while doing this.
Well, we're all suffering here for the birds, for the hot takes, for the ABA. Just as a reminder, folks, we are running an ABA membership drive. The American Birding Association is my employer, and we support all sorts of really cool birding initiatives, from our magazines, from our online stuff, to the American Birding Podcast, which I host, which is a weekly podcast you can find wherever you can find podcasts, where we have lots of different guests and friends from around the birding world to talk about birds and birding. And one of those things that we do is take it or leave it. Friends, I went to the biggest hot take factory on the planet to solicit these hot takes. I posted on Reddit in our birding, and I got a delicious assortment of exciting hot bird takes to throw at you as we go. Folks, I hope that your opinions are as sharp as I know that they are, as the tail on a sandpiper. That's the best thing to come up with that short. We're excited to have them, folks. Let's should we jump right into it? Is there anything else that you want to talk about? You both are members of the ABA, and for that we absolutely thank you. This is a great opportunity to talk about what the birding community means to you. What does the birding community mean to you where you live?
Holy moly! I mean,
hot take.
This is not a hot take, but like the video I just watched of Michael, when I started birding, I knew zero other birders. I didn't know a single. I had no mentors. I had no information. I had no anything. And so the ABA was the way I learned the bare fundamentals. Everything I learned at the very beginning was thanks to the ABA, getting me out there, getting me excited, connecting me to people, connecting me to places. ABA is the hub for birders in the country, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know why anyone would not be a member. It's a great organization of like-minded people doing good things, producing really great products. So if you're not a member, just get out there. Let's do it.
I renewed my membership today. Actually, when I saw that there was a donation match, I was like, I could do it in July when it's technically up, or I can do it right now. So I did it. I did it today. I came to the ABA in a very different way, because I started as a solitary birder and then found community. So I live in New York City, and that has like a very robust birding community just generally. But when I wanted to know more about other birding communities and sort of what was happening in the ABA area, that's when I found the ABA. That's when I decided to join. Was like, well, I know all these people in New York City, but I'd like to meet somebody, say, in Maine or in North Carolina. And so then,
I know people there.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like ID tips. I was learning things earlier today on the what's this bird? So love it.
Right on. Well, thank you for that, and thanks to all the folks that are tuning in to watch. And we've got thank you, Manny Majorans on the chat. Just renewed my membership. Thank you for that,
Manny.
People who are renewing it. Yeah, thank you, Manny. Let's jump right into it. Martha and Nick, I've got as you say, a list of hot takes I've shared with you early last week. I gave you some time to think about them. Some fun stuff. Shall we jump right into it? Let's ease into the hot takes with a simple one.
I thought you were going to start nuclear. I was like, let's just go.
Not yet. We'll get there.
Dip our toes in to the hot
time,
take.
right?
Oh, okay.
A bird with a crest is more, I don't know if I can say this, is cooler than a bird without one. This is a hot Reddit take. Bird with a crest is cooler than a bird without one. What say
That's
you?
a hot take.
Take it or leave
What
it.
else does the bird have without a crest? That's my
Fair enough.
question. Does it
Yeah.
have gnarly other features? Does it have
Good.
some crazy eye thing? Does it gotta have a waddle?
Are there any crested birds with waddles? Crested birds with waddles?
Yeah, the crested wattle bird. Have you not seen it?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I got a couple.
going to EBird to check it out right now.
Don't worry. Yeah, it's the taxonomy's all changed right now. I mean, I would say like if all things are equal, if you had a bird, if you had this chickadee, and you just put a crest on it, yeah, that'd be a little cooler.
That's a tip.
I think, yeah.
I would say that's a little
yeah.
cooler, but that doesn't mean that a bird can't have not cool non-crest features.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess the question is the crest like the ultimate bird feature? Is sort of what this opinion haver, who I unfortunately do not have a name for, is getting at. Is the crest the ultimate bird feature? What is the best bird feature? Is there a universally accepted best bird feature?
I was in Oaxaca with some friends last year, and we saw the Stellar's jay down there with the mega crest, and I've never been the same. I can't sleep thinking about that bird. And that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. A crest is up there in coolest. Is it the best feature?
I think it might be. I mean, every time I see a bird with a crest, I'm thinking Snake Plissken. And it's like, okay, now that's somebody who's got a lot of attitude and can also help me escape New York. So,
something you might need down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Are you going to ask all the tough to titmice and blue jays to help you escape?
Yeah,
New York?
exactly. Like, please get me over the 59th Street Bridge right now.
At least.
But when I see a tufted
double crested
titmouse,
cormorant, there's your key bird right there. They got two of them.
but when I see a tufted titmouse, I'm not like, whoa, look at this cool. You know what I mean? Like a crest alone doesn't make it the coolest, but it is a cool addition.
I think a tufted titmouse would be inordinately less cool without a crest, though, because then it's just just a plain gray bird. Yeah,
we would
and it's just
probably erase them from the books. They would not like.
they'd erase themselves. You're like, okay, no, I'm gone.
I mean, black crested titmice are undoubtedly cooler than tufted titmice, I would say, right?
Fair. I'd agree.
That's
with
a hot
that.
take.
On
Anybody
the hierarchy of the parrots
want to come back at me on that? I mean, black crested.
No, I
if
agree
you
with
put
you.
them side by side.
No,
like,
those are pretty
clearly this one.
And that's just a streak of black. That's
just
the
a
only
little
thing
black, and it bridled beats the something out of both of them.
Let's not even get started. Yeah, bridled.
Right? Why even have the cup?
S tier parrot for sure. Chris Ortega says, "Leave it. Crests are great, but there are so many other cool features besides crests." I'm inclined to agree with that one. I like a waddle. Marsha Balestri says, "Long-tailed streamers also cool, like a turn tail or a streamer tail, also an exceptional feature on a bird."
You know, can I have a hot take against that? Wrong. I think long tails look ridiculous. And every bird, you see all these birds struggling with their dumb long tails. They are not aerodynamic. I don't like long tails, period. Done.
Yeah. This is why I brought you on, Nick. These sort of
I'm not scared of a hot take.
tail takes are extremely
cut the tail.
Someone's got to say it.
Cut the tail.
Eric Yanyo says, "Leave it. If that was true, the Northern Cardinal is cooler than Northern Shrike."
There you go. Great answer.
Yeah. All right. I agree with that. Yeah. I will leave it, although I will with a caveat that crests are pretty cool. Excellent. Consensus. We've done it. Moving on. People get way too into birding, quotation marks, as a personal identifier, and it pushes people away from enjoying birds because they think they have to know a certain amount or be a birder to like birds. Take it or leave it. People think you have to bird a certain way to be a birder, and it becomes too much of their personal identification. That's sort of how I am interpreting this comment. Not nuclear, but hotter. What say you, panel?
This is a tough one. You know, let me say this. People can be annoying in a number of ways. And if you're an annoying person...
Coolest take in the universe, Nick.
If you're an annoying person, then that's bad. Like if you're using birding, your identity as a birder, to be a jerk to other people or to exclude other people, then that's bad. And I think that applies to any... If you're into old books or something and you're like, well, your book's not old enough, then that's also annoying and bad. but I do want to say, and there's a theme in I think some of these questions about expertise versus like I think it's okay to be an expert, and I think it's okay to have a lot of knowledge about something, and and I think that if you are happy being a birder and that's your whole personality, that's fine. Who am I to say? If you're annoying either because of that or also on top of that, then that's bad, and you should work on that. But I think if you want to love birding so much that that's your thing, then like I'm glad you found your thing, man. A lot of people are just out there walking around, aimlessly. And so yes and no. I don't know if I agree with the setup of the question because there's multiple types of birding, but Martha?
I agree.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as it was phrased, I'm also gonna leave it because, as far as I'm concerned, love what you love. You shouldn't be embarrassed about that. And yes, you can be mindful of how you present yourself to other people so that you aren't off-putting, you aren't annoying. But okay, I don't personally like birding is not my whole personality, despite being on this. Despite being here right now. But I do love it, and I am unabashedly open about that. So, and I guess if some people think that's embarrassing or off-putting, that's on them.
Yeah, preach it.
If you don't like
it,
it's like you've got to love me at every portion of me, and if that's getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I think that there is a tendency sometimes for novice birders to feel intimidated by people who have a lot of knowledge about a thing, and the thing is birding, and to express that as sort of a, well, being an expert is wrong, and you're kind of lording over this information over other people. And while that does happen in some hobbies for sure, I do think that is more of an expression of anxiety than it is for anything else. And I think people should just be more kind of open about how they love birds, and just kind of let other people do birding on their own terms, right? So
Yes.
I don't know where I'm getting at that. There's almost like a reverse elitism that can be a defense mechanism when you are just now getting started. And I think it's healthier for people to just kind of accept that we all need to learn stuff. We're all learning. And I think birding is great for that, because there's this constant learning that goes along with birding, and this constant humbling of yourself when you're dealing with things that you cannot control. I talked about this earlier in the What's This Bird? Like, I can't control birds. And so I've got to kind of humble myself when I'm out there, because they're gonna trick me, and they're gonna fool me, or they're not gonna be present, or it's gonna be a whole thing.
Every time I go birding with a new person, or with I'm leading an event or whatever, it's like I tell them right off the bat, I am going to confidently misidentify at least one bird today.
All the time. I did it last week at the biggest week. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, look at that. You're like, and it's Mississippi kite, and it's like rock pitching.
Yeah, like, exactly. There you go.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah.
That's what's made Merlin so hard for walk leaders, is that in previous years, if I heard a sound I didn't recognize, I could just ignore it. But now people are like, did you hear that? That's a Philadelphia Vireo.
Did you hear that blue-headed Vireo?
Yeah. I was waiting till we get to the right spot where we could look and talk at that. It's anyway.
Yeah.
Or you can just wing it. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally
I totally heard that. It was too far away. Yeah.
That's a type C call.
Yeah, right. I didn't immediately recognize it, for sure. Good discussion, good talk. Let's take one from the chat. We've got people giving some hot takes here in the Facebook thing. Matt Igleski, a friend from Illinois, asks, he's got to take it or leave it. Conservative estimate basically means nothing. As an EBird comment.
That's hilarious.
It's just an estimate.
That's hilarious. You never see wildly overestimate. You never see like
that's right.
Just liberal, don't care estimate.
Throwing it
probably way fewer than
not
that.
Sure. Yeah.
Pulling it out of my backside.
That's right.
I think I'm going to start adding that. It's like my local eBird reviewers can be like,
yeah,
Martha.
Yeah.
Please don't ever do
wild
that again.
estimate. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think like a related take it or leave it is like EBird comments are helpful to anyone. Like The only eBird comments
okay.
I ever find useful are like specific directions to a bird I'm looking for. Anything else, you describing the bird, photos to come, and then no photos that ever come. Any other comment that you have in there is
I'm
a
extremely
waste
guilty
of
of that
everyone's
one.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
I
like
don't know. You know,
yeah. Sorry. Here
that's
we
a hot
go.
take, Nick.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
here we go.
A lot of times I will add field notes if we don't have photos, and I don't want to have a
Mhm.
conversation with the reviewer, because I mean, the
Yes.
reviewers now know me, and so they're like, okay, well, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be stringing. But if I'm somewhere and I'm like, no, I actually saw this rarity, I'm going to display the field marks or behaviors that I saw to
Mhm.
back that up. I do agree that most the only comments that I really like are the ones how to find the bird and like if they're funny. Somebody
Yeah,
wrote like harlequin ducks is like the most perfect like manifestation of duck in the world, and I'm like, that's a great
Yeah.
eBird comment, I
That's
gotta
not bad.
say.
Yeah. I believe you, except, yeah.
Except we got tufted duck out there, but
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
or smew.
So I guess the idea of the eBird comments being useful. I mean, the idea is that the eBird reviewer, and I say this as a former eBird reviewer, recovering eBird reviewer would probably be a better way to put it. I say this like they need to be acceptable if a stranger comes along in 10 years and reads them or sees the photos. Well, reads them because this is just separate from photos,
Mhm.
and comes to the same conclusion that you do based on your description, right? That's sort of the idea of a comment in it for a rare bird committee or whatever. You're not trying to convince the committee. You're not trying to convince the reviewer. You're trying to convince the next reviewer, the next reviewer, the next reviewer who comes back and maybe thinks, I'm not sure about that. That way, your personal reputation doesn't get into it, because your reviewer right now might know you as a good birder, but the next reviewer, like,
Yeah, for real.
they may not know you. They may not know
My
who you are. Maybe you
reputation
move
will
away.
carry on as
Yeah.
a bad birder for down the line.
They need to look at the entirety of your work, Nick, and then
Sure.
they will be able to see. Yeah.
I guess the situations I'm thinking of, and I've heard this from other reviewers, is that when people put in field notes, they're actually just sort of copied and pasted from the Sibley app notes.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
super.
That's
yeah.
been an issue for even before eBird.
Totally. And that's not helpful to anybody, and doesn't inspire confidence. So, I don't know. I
Okay,
guess
that's a fair critique. If somebody's just like, oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah, what he said. Like, wow, that does not help.
Yeah.
okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Continuing.
Sure,
Yeah.
bro.
I guess I guess I'm thinking of specific purposes. Like if I was just in southern Texas, and we were using eBird checklist to find out where stuff was, and there are some that are so helpful. It's in this, you walk this way and you take a left and then you go right there and it's there, and those are so helpful. But the ones where someone is just like sort of narrating their journey of like identification or anything other than specific directions, is not helpful, especially when it's a bird that's been around in the ID. So I don't know. I think Matt, it's certainly, I think we can all agree that conservative estimate is not helpful.
Yeah. Coming back to it. Yeah. Conservative estimate, not helpful. Yeah. I'm still going to continue to do it though. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to use it. Yeah. Oh man, people are putting in Eric Yanyo says eBird comments can be helpful in establishing the credibility of the person posting the checklist. I am more inclined to believe someone who puts in a detailed description than someone who just put ID'd by Merlin. Yes, I would agree with that. The description of the bird for the reviewer also helps me decide whether or not to chase the bird, from Scott Hickman. All right, I hear that. Yeah. Colin Conroy says, this is interesting. It never occurred to me that anyone else is going to look at my list or read my comments. Yeah.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
Sell yourself short, Colin. Come on now.
Yeah, please share your eBird name so we can go read what you've been putting into your checklist for the last few years. I'm dying to know.
We'll do it. Jack Scully says, I swear and got an email. Fair enough.
I swear. I mean, that's as helpful as anything else, frankly. You at least you're in conversation with the reviewer at that point.
That's right. It is a conversation.
Yeah.
All things considered. All right. Great takes. Let's move on. Here's another. I don't know if this is nuclear or not. My sense of nuclear takes has been maybe diluted. But here's another good one. Killing house sparrows in America is unethical unless a species has been put on the endangered list as a result of competition from them, i.e., not bluebirds. Bluebirds not an endangered species, certainly not. So it is not ethical to kill house sparrows that perhaps take their nests. Woo! All right. Any thoughts on this one?
If I say
Cackling.
yeah, if I say anything, it's like every suburban New Yorker is gonna find out where I live and like torch my house.
They love their bluebirds
How
out in suburban New York.
This is a tough one. I think the related question is it okay to act unethically sometimes?
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
You know,
what is unethical when we're coming to protecting? Native
I
species?
eat meat. I eat, chicken.
We're gonna go all the way.
Do I recognize that that's not great? Do I recognize that that's maybe not unethical? Yeah. But do I still do it? I also do. Can I reconcile that with myself? So you can also recognize that you live as a bad person. That's fine. So I
what is living in the modern world if not that sort of reconciliation?
This is a really interesting one. A part of me thinks that we have done so much to alter the earth and already have sort of given some species advantages over other species that directly managing for house sparrows, for example, is like just a drop in the bucket of the stuff that we do. And so why draw the line there? Because it's a direct killing. At least we're conscious of that rather than sort of it dying. Birds die against windows every single day. We don't see that, so it's not evident. So I guess I would say no. I'm going to stand up and say no. Thought out management of house sparrows specifically is, I don't know if unethical is the right word, but it's something that we do. You can have I'm not going to put my address on here, but it's on.
I chose this one for it because I thought it was particularly interesting because we justify killing a lot of people justify killing house sparrows or starlings or any of these sort of invasive species that use cavities that are used by native species because we say we're going to help the native species, but bluebirds are not a species at risk. They are everywhere. Now, kestrels, can you kill starlings that are in kestrel boxes? That's a little bit more of a gray area. Like, where do we draw the line here? It's not the fault of the sparrows or the starlings that they are on the landscape and they're using these, I don't know, resources, for lack of a better word. It's a conundrum, and this one I've gone back and forth on. I'll be honest. I may still be going back and forth on as we have this conversation.
Yeah, I don't think I have a take actually, or on this one.
You're gonna
hottest take of all.
Entire premise of the conversation.
No, I just all I'm just my mind immediately goes to like MBTA and take permits, and
yeah, right.
And it's wasn't there some research a few years ago that showed that starlings and house sparrows don't actually have that heavy of an impact on cavity nesters as what you originally thought. So 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it was yes, these things are going to just decimate every cavity nester, and as it turns out, that's not actually true.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right.
So I think, part of this is it's an emotional reaction to people don't value house sparrows because they're common, because they're kind of drab, et cetera, et cetera. And so part of the antipathy is around getting more desirous birds and not necessarily about conservation at all.
Yeah. That's an interesting take.
And I should say that, by the way, this is my opinion and not that of my employer.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, let's make that absolutely clear.
Let us make this.
We should put a disclaimer. Greg, can you throw a disclaimer up there?
That this is my opinion and not that of who pays my bills.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I think hunters out there will tell you that hunting a bird doesn't mean you don't value it or respect it. And that mileage might vary for other folks. But I don't know. This is a really tough one.
But at least when you're hunting a bird, you're either going to eat it or you're going to display it. Whereas
I eat all my house. You guys don't eat your house sparrows?
I feed them to my local kestrel population.
I pop them
Right.
like
I eat them in the French tradition with a
Yes,
a
with shame.
towel over my head.
under a cloak.
Yeah.
North American ortolan.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we could get a lot of people on board with house sparrows if we went that direction. Yeah, you're exactly right, because the issues facing, say, American kestrels are not caused by European starling. It is caused by pesticide use, loss of farm agricultural habitat, any number of things. Kestrels are kind of hurting, but it's not necessarily starlings, because there's not really any shortage of snags out there. There's a lot of snags out there for everybody, and I'll just share them. I don't know. We gotta. There are bigger issues to deal with. I think that ones that would definitely impact more birds than just the ones that we claim to be doing this for. I would think so. Take. I guess I will take, but with caveats, I suppose.
A gentle leave for me.
A gentle leave. There you
Respectful
go. Nice.
leave.
Respectful leave. Before we move on to the next one, I do want to give an acknowledgement to a few folks who have joined the ABA as a result of this spring member drive recently. I'm going to read some names. Hello, thank you. Caleb from Phoenix, Arizona. Billy from Loveland, Ohio. Gunesekaran from Felton, California. I apologize if I got that incorrect. Paris from Denver, Colorado. And Jamie from Abbeville, Louisiana. Thank you so much. I'm Nate Swick. That's Martha Harbison. That's Nick Lund. We are doing birding hot takes, and if you have them, please let us know in the comments. We're watching the comments. I'm watching the comments. I don't know if y'all are, but I'm watching the comments. Someone, Neely folk, really liked your take on the last one. Martha, you spoke. You spoke.
Oh.
All right. Oh, we need a break. Greg says we need a break. We'll be back in a minute or so. Thanks.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Jesús Antonio Moyam y soy corresponsal para la American Birding Association en Latinoamérica. He tenido el privilegio de publicar mis historias y fotografías de la mano de la American Birding Association, en especial en la revista Birding Magazine. Para mí, la observación de aves va más allá de solo tener la fotografía, de solo, estar buscando el ave. Me gusta narrar todo ese contexto, toda esa emoción, la energía, la gente que conocemos en el camino e incluso hasta la comida. Es ahí donde la American Birding Association juega un papel importante en mi trabajo y como miembro, del cual yo les invito a ser miembro, porque la observación de aves con American Birding Association va más allá de eso. Va apoyando proyectos locales, apoyando festivales, divulgando también la conservación y muchas cosas más que la American Birding Association tiene, siendo parte de esta gran organización. Así que yo les invito a unirse a la American Birding Association para compartir sus historias, para apoyar proyectos, para dar a conocer proyectos que sobre todo necesitan ayuda en Latinoamérica o en cualquier parte de la ABA area. Sería genial poder saber de ustedes, visitarlos y sobre todo poder compartir sus historias con la American Birding Association.
No way. Whoa! Didn't see you there. I'm Bonner Black, and I got into birding after dealing with some mental health issues. But birding grounded me, and it connected me back to the earth. And then it became a bit of an obsession. What has fueled that obsession? The American Birding Association. Interviews with all the leading experts, all the up-to-date happenings in the bird world, and my favorite crossword puzzle. If you're obsessed with birds, ABA will only make it worse. But that's a good thing. ABA? More like ABA! I don't know if that's gonna make the cut.
Are we back?
All
We're
right.
back. We're back. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to thanks to Bonner and to Chucho for those great thoughts. We really appreciate all the people who sent in testimonials for this membership drive. I'm Nate Swick. That's Martha Harbison. That's Nick Lund. We are excited to chat bird hot takes with you. We've got some good ones. Let's jump right into it. Some birds are better enjoyed at a distance and are hideous up close. Roseate spoonbill beak, feet of an American coot. I'm sure we can think of some other ones. Various wattled birds. I like a wattle, but yeah, that's definitely a distant field mark that I enjoy. How about you? Take it or leave it? Some birds that you need to see far away and some birds you need to see close up.
I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take it further.
Yes, go.
Yeah, so not only are there some birds that you should see far away, there are some birds that you should never see at all.
Ooh. I like this one. Okay. Yeah.
And so the first one that came to mind when I realized that I had this opinion was the capuchin bird. This thing looks like it was a redirect from the dark crystal because it's got this like weird shaggy body and this like messed up bald dome. But its sound is incredible. You know, I don't even want to know what the bird looks like, except for it's doing this weird, like, experimental Laurie Anderson thing in the background. My friend Bruno actually just went out and saw some lecking and heard lecking capuchin birds maybe a month ago, and sent the video to the group chat. And yeah, I'm not sure I ever want to see that bird. However, I do want to hear it because to me, it's like whatever is going to be conjured in my imagination is going to be even gnarlier because it sounds so crazy than what even evolution has given to us.
Interesting. I like it.
I mean, it's impossible not to take. I mean, it is a stone cold truth that there are some birds that are just very ugly up close. But you got to remember this: they do not exist for our visual pleasure, right?
That is
like,
true.
The fact that we don't find them attractive is meaningless to anything, as long as they find each other attractive. And you got to wonder in some cases, even they must, hold their breath when they close their eyes when they copulate sometimes, but that's, as long as they can get it done, then that's all that matters. But good Lord, a lot of, I've seen a wood stork up, everybody do, is it Waxahachie? What's the, place in Florida where you with the boardwalk?
Wakotahachie, yeah,
Wakotahachie
or Loxahatchee. There's a bunch of them.
Hatchie, some names. Florida, some great Florida word. You get close to some of these waders, and you're like, good Lord,
like
weird,
like a Jabiru stork. You're like, okay, you're kind of, but or the marabou. You're like
marabou.
Oh man, what happened? I will say, coot feet are amazing.
Yeah,
I love.
We have people that agree with you in the comments there. But, I once took a headshot of a roseate spoonbill down in Texas one time, and I didn't realize until I got the photos home and on my computer and trying to edit them how disconcerting that bird is, with the green, bald, wrinkly head and the nose that just kind of, I don't know. That is a classic bird that is so cool far away, but close up, it is extremely off-putting.
I saw some displaying wild turkeys today, and I love them to death.
Another good one.
Up close, they just got a lot going on, a lot of dangly, bulbous things that just feel unnecessary. But I love them, and they're wonderful, but they're gross.
Yeah. And I would like to further go off on Martha's take about how some birds need to be heard. I know a lot of people sort of obsess over seeing a bird to add it to your life list as opposed to just hearing it. But you're absolutely right, Martha. There are some birds out there where the hearing part is the experience, like a Chuckwill's widow or a whippoorwill. Yes, they're cool. But if you see a Chuckwill's widow and don't hear a Chuckwill's widow, have you really experienced a Chuckwill's widow? I would say no, not at all.
No, you've experienced
you need to hear that bird.
Yeah, lump on a log. You're like, hey, look at that. Yeah. It's a lump on a log.
Cow patty. It's got a cow patty.
Yeah, it's got a face. Yay. Bellbirds. That's another one to me that it's got just like
another
this,
good one.
It's the noise, like that to me is what embodies the bird and not necessarily the visual experience.
Yeah. Well, Colin in the comments mentions nightingale. I know that is such an evocative bird in the British, the UK mind. Like it is a bird that, the British Isles, it goes back as long as there have been people there. They have been, writing and thinking about nightingales and writing odes to nightingales and paintings of maybe not paintings. It's odes. It's descriptions of the song. It's the song of a nightingale that is the important part of it. And someone asked, what about a spoon-billed sandpiper? They're kind of cute. I'll give a spoon-billed sandpiper. Oh. It's the bald, wrinkly head that really makes a roseate spoonbill.
I think it's bird skin.
I'll judge for myself.
Yeah, bird skin.
Spoonbill.
Yeah. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
I should say too quickly, it also goes the reverse direction. There are some birds that should be seen and not heard, like my beloved Atlantic puffin, which sounds like
a lot of seabirds, just kind of generally.
Stomach. Yeah, seabirds in general. Just zip it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great take. I mean, generally a large take. Here's a hotter one that I wanted to throw at you. I believe this is one from Reddit. I actually have the person that did this one. It is Meonite S3 OMG Meonite S3 official. You're probably not watching, but I'll give you the acknowledgement anyway. I believe that if you see a bird in captivity, you can call that a lifer if you want to. There is basically no chance I will get to see a southern ground hornbill anywhere else in my life. It feels nice to at least say I have witnessed this creature in person. And if you don't want to count it, that's fine. Can you count captive birds on your life list? This is kind of a third rail here at the ABA, where we have been the listing organization for so long.
A hard no. That's ludicrous.
Ooh, okay.
And there is a difference between enjoying being in the presence of a bird and counting it as a lifer, I would say. And those things do not need, the one does not need to impede the enjoyment of the other. I've seen lots of animals at zoos, and it's a delightful experience. But that's not this. I can't say like, yeah, I've hung out with a tiger before. I just think those things are separate, and that's my take. Period.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna take it, but only because lists, I mean, in some ways lists are kind of fake, and it's like it's your list. It's like, who cares? You can do what you want. I would never in a million years like list a zoo bird on my list, because to me that's like what I have gone,
right.
Nick and Nate, I think the three of us, approach birding in a very similar way, which is like, okay, this is part of a scholarship. It's not like just an experience. It's part of a process. And, going to the San Diego Zoo is not really a process. That's just buying a ticket. However, like my friend Paul Sweet, who is, I think all of you guys know who Paul Sweet is, but for those who don't, he's the the ornithological curator at the American Museum of Natural History. And he has like a very famous saying when we're out birding and you're like not quite sure about an ID, and he's like, it's your list. He's like, at the end of the day, it's your list. I don't actually care. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's fair. And so that's what I tell other people. So for this person, like, if you would like to list that bird that you saw in a zoo, like, it's your list. Somebody is definitely going to discount your list when they use it. If they pull it off of eBird, they're definitely going to be like, chuck that baby out. And every checklist that this person has ever submitted. And that's fine too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah. I am going to leave it, if only because I think of those lists as sort of separate. I do have like the eBird, the good eBird list, the ABA, whatever world list of birds that I've seen in the wild. But I do remember, really noteworthy birds that I've seen in captivity. I thought it was super cool to see a kiwi at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. I love going into those aviaries, those free-flying aviaries that they have in all those places, and looking for all the birds in there. It's not a bird that I would count. And then if by good fortune I manage to see that bird in the wild, then, that's another experience. For me, my life list is a lot of kind of experiences in the wild with people, with places I've been, with people I've been with, and all that stuff. A zoo is different. Our bird in captivity is different. I love to see it. I think it's cool, but I'm not going to put it on my list. But if you want to, and it's not hurting anybody, you're not putting it on eBird. If that's how you want to maintain your list, then do what you like. But I'm tentatively going to leave this because I think that a list of birds that you encounter in the wild is fundamentally different from a list of birds that you see in captivity.
I mean,
and
I was just saying, can I take it further? Can I start listing? I was like, if I'm going to start taking birds that are in the zoo, I'm going to actually just start listing all the birds that I saw at the American Museum of Natural History in their collection rooms.
That's
right.
It's like that's also cool. Sometimes I like to see that.
It's like
I have ivory-billed woodpecker.
Yeah, I was like, great auk. That thing was awesome.
Sure. They're just separate things. I love. I mean, I highly recommend.
Love it.
I highly recommend all birders go to aviaries and see the free. I mean, you have experiences with birds that you will never get, even if you did see them in the wild. But I don't eat Chinese food and then say I've been to China either. Like they're just different things. And I think it just makes sense to keep them separate.
Yeah. So, do you keep lists of other taxa? Do you keep mammal lists, herp lists, all that stuff? Because the rules are slightly different for those. Like, would you count dead birds? Because I know a lot of people who keep quote unquote mammal lists, and they count dead on road as part of the mammal list, and I don't. I kind of abide by bird listing rules when I keep my list of mammals, and like I've never seen like a striped skunk in the wild, which is wild. I've never seen a living striped skunk in the wild, but I've seen, I don't know, dozens of them dead on the road.
Smelled even more.
Still waiting for that live striped skunk but I know friends who are naturalists, excellent naturalists, who count DOR, so-called DOR species. Dead on road.
There's nothing wrong with that. Do what you want to do.
I guess that's the same thing. Yeah, there's no ABA, there's no American Mammaling Association that it has this list of rules that people
until now, and I want to announce
your next venture.
Hey, we're doing a member drive for the American Mammal
Association. It's a member drive in your member drive.
That's right.
Nesting doll member drive.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, all right. Good take. Leave. Was it leave? No, it was take leave.
Yeah, it was basically it was leave, take, leave.
Yeah.
And I'm only taking it just because I was like, I'd love to have a conversation as opposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Again,
No,
I generally
let's do it. Yeah. Great comments. That one really got a lot of comments on the internets there. Let me see. Rebecca Wofford, I have a background in zoos, so keep a separate life list of birds, animals I've seen in captivity. It's exciting to go to a new facility and see different species, but that's not a lifer. Agree. Take that one. I take that one. John Anderson, lists, they're yours. EBird follows EBird rules. I follow my own. Heck, people keep lists of birds they've seen on Nova programs. I agree.
Which I love.
Seems weird to me. Yeah.
I
have a list of all the birds I've seen on cricket broadcasts.
Yeah.
Was there a story in the Big Year, the book, about a guy who was bedridden for a year and then kept a list of birds he saw on TV? I think about that all the time.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
cool.
I love that.
I always take note of bird songs I hear in TV. I know you do. I know both of you probably do.
Yeah.
George Munoz, it's your list, but you're still wrong and it doesn't count. Yes. Take. Hard take. Hard take.
There you go.
So Chris would take, so good takes. Thanks for the conversation in the comments. Thanks to all of you. I'll make a shout out. This is the ABA's spring membership drive. If you'd like to join the ABA and help us gain another $100 for a new or a long returning member to the ABA, go to aba.org/join right there at the bottom of your screen and sign up, and you'll get access to all this cool stuff that helps support. Colin the Conroy, we're doing another break, says Greg. We'll be back very soon.
Hi there, I'm Marky Muchler. I'm the North American Rare Bird Alert Coordinator, or NARBA Coordinator, for the American Birding Association. My birding journey started quite a while ago. I was very young, and I would mostly bird local parks with my parents. And this was pretty much birding as it was for me. However, that changed pretty dramatically when I found out about the Young Birder of the Year program through the ABA. I entered this program and I was very fortunate to actually win the title of Young Birder of the Year. And while the title was very nice, something that I did not expect that it brought for me was community. I found out about Birding Magazine, the Young Birder camps, other young birders who entered the same competition. And this was something that has become incredibly formative for birding as a whole for my life. It came full circle, had a little full circle moment recently, where I actually got to be a mentor for the Very Young Birder program that I entered all those years ago. And I think this really highlights something that's very important for birding for me, and that is connection. Connection to outdoor spaces, connection to birds, and of course connection to people. And the ABA is really good about connecting people. Whether, like I said, that's the Young Birder camps, writing articles for Birding Magazine, or just finding a network of people who care about and love watching birds. So if this is something that interests you, whether that's building community, learning more about bird identification, what's going on in the ABA area, then I definitely recommend checking out the American Birding Association. It's something that has been absolutely vital to my birding as a whole. And if this sounds like something that would interest you, then check out aba.org/membership.
Hi, I'm naturalist and writer Scott Weidensaul, and two of the most important aspects of the ABA for me are its flagship publications, Birding and North American Birds. They're a one-stop, well, I guess actually two-stop shop for all the latest information on bird ID tips, news from the birding community, the latest breaking science, what's going on with the status and conservation of North American birds. They keep me up to date easily, and for that I'm very grateful. Thank you, ABA.
Back.
Woohoo!
We're back. We're back. Scott Weidensaul, Marky Muchler, thanks for that. Both former ABA
Two of the greats.
guests. Yeah, two of the greats. They've both
Truly.
been on Scott Weidensaul just recently, and he gave a great talk at the biggest week in American birding this year too. Folks, we've got some more hot birding takes. We're excited to bring them to you. That's Martha Harbison. That's Nick Lund. I'm Nate Swick. We are. This is going to go on the American Birding Podcast probably this week. So if you didn't catch it here, you'll be able to catch it there. Yeah, so let's jump right into it. Let's talk 4-letter breeding codes, because I know that is one that always gets, let's say, fun in local birding listservs and groups and whatnot have you. Here's the take. 4-letter breeding codes should not be used outside data collection of select groups where everybody already knows them. And here's a related one. We'll get to that one later. This one's from Sheridan Coffee, who is an ABA member and a birder. I caught it off threads just kind of randomly. But 4-letter breeding codes should not be used outside data collection where everybody already knows them. Take or leave. If you're not familiar with 4-letter breeding codes, they are these kind of banding codes that were created by, I don't want to say like Powder Mill. People can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. It's basically shorthand for banding stations to so they don't have to write out the full name of the bird. They can just put a little 4-letter breeding code. They're generally derived from the for 2-letter bird names like Carolina chickadee, it would be CACH. For 3-letter bird names like black-capped chickadee, it'd be BCCH. For 1-letter words like Sora, it would be Sora. For one-word birds like Sora. Sora is Sora. Dick Sissel is Dick. So 4-letter breeding. There are some funny ones out there. Morning Dove, Modo, Tuvu. Yeah, well, that's the first. I was trying to think of first one.
Glad you got that one in there.
Limpkin is limp. Anyway, so they shouldn't be used. People don't use them. What do you how do you feel about 4-letter breeding codes? Take this take or leave it.
I mean, I, with all respect to Sheridan Coffee, another legend birder out there, I'm leaving this in the dust. I love 4-letter birding codes. I love them. And I've loved them ever since I started birding, which was when people used them a lot. People used to report birds a lot more. Before eBird, people would post their lengthy lists to the listserv, and you can't write out all that stuff. You just can't write it out. And we have abbreviations for the birds. It's fine. And I know that you don't want to learn them, but you just got to learn them. I'm sorry. I think some expertise and some knowledge is okay. There are plenty of resources out there to learn them. People are happy to explain one or the other when you have a question about, but that's true. Yeah. They are helpful. They are, necessary to get information across quicker, and use them, man. Just use them.
All right. How I'm like trying to formulate my thoughts.
Considering how
number one, I do use them. Although usually under very specific circumstances, usually when they're funny. There is nothing more satisfying than standing in a wetland and screaming Greg 50 times every time that a gray egret flies over. Greg!
So acknowledge to Greg Neise. Yeah.
It's just like, it's never not going to be funny to me. However, or Modo, that's another very satisfying one to say.
Tuvu,
Tuvu. Although I usually just say TV. Because it just
even shorter. Oh my gosh, 2 letters.
But what really like grinds my gears are when people like use the wrong 4-letter code, because they forget that there's like there's nuances, like there are like I am not going to be able to pull up any of these like extemporaneously, but you know that there's always those codes that people mess up every single time. There's like prairie
barn owl
warbler
and barn owl.
Yeah, and so it's just like so there's
swan and tree swallow.
Yeah. So so in that case, I would say, like, if you're going to use them, then by God, make sure you're using them right.
Yeah,
sure. I've seen the argument every year of my life in the group me's and the listservs and every possible format where birders talk to each other. There's people complaining about 4-letter birding codes, and I just need it to end. I'm just done. Yeah, I'm done with hearing it.
Yeah, my eyes glaze over a little. I'm like, okay, fine. It's like, we're going to relitigate this thing. I am mindful when I use them, though, because, like, again, for somebody that's just like a casual birder, it can be a gateway. You're like, oh, wait, there's more secret lore. I had no idea. There are some people that are just like, I stick that right into my eyeballs.
Lore is a great way to describe it.
It's like, and then there's the 99.9% of other birders that are like, wow, that is the most off-putting stuff I've ever seen in my life. So again, know your audience.
Sure.
Yeah. I will say my hot take, perhaps even hotter take, is that the inevitable arguments about whether to use or how to use the 4-letter codes are more annoying than the actual use of the 4-letter codes in the first place.
Yes.
It becomes yes, it becomes space policing. It's basically people like policing a space, like you're not birding right. It goes back to, it's like, if you're being annoying, it's not because you're a birder, it's because you're annoying.
Yeah. And I will say that birding is funny because as we mentioned kind of earlier, there's this sort of, when you're a new birder, there's this sort of anxiety that comes along with not knowing the lore, not knowing all this kind of deep information. But I will tell you that birders just in generally are so willing to share that information. If you just ask, what BLGR is, you'll get like 70 birders coming out of the woodwork to tell you that it's a blue grosbeak because they've got this information there that they just have to share it. So yeah. It's lore, but it's not secret lore, right?
No, it's not secret lore. There are PDFs published on the internet, because I have to look up the banding codes all the time, because I was like, I don't want to be that person who got it wrong.
We want you to know this. We want you to have this information desperately, even so that we can communicate more easily or quicker. Yeah, because no one wants to type in Ferruginous pygmy owl on their phone.
Yeah, exactly. With your thumbs. No.
Yeah. No way.
With the proper capitalization as well.
That's right.
I should say too, at least in the Sibley app, and I'm sure others, you can type in the 4-letter code and it'll tell you the species. And so, like, if you ever have a question, you can do it that way. It's listed in every species account. So, please just learn them and let's just move on with our lives.
Agree. John Lowry, hey John, audio engineer for the podcast. Can be exclusionary for new birders, but a fun introduction to this world is possible. Tuvu is a fun one to learn early on. Totally agree. 100%. Eric Yanyo, 100% agree with Rebecca. Oh, Rebecca, I got to scroll up to see what Rebecca said. I will get there. Never use the abbreviations in non-birder company where it would just cause more confusion. Yes. There are times and places to use these. And one of the most appropriate times and places to use them is on a birder listserv. So,
possibly the only time and place.
Literally no more time and appropriate time and place.
Good God.
Here's a hot one that Nick wanted to touch on. Instead of birds, we should call them what they are: dinosaurs. Take or leave.
I'm leaving it. They are dinosaurs. We all get it. Agreed. It feels like a fact that like an 8-year-old who just learned it like tells you all the time, birds are dinosaurs, that? It's like, we know that they're dinosaurs. But also just saying that is just too confusing in this modern world where people have a conception of dinosaurs meaning more than just the dinosaurs that survived and now are birds. Meaning a whole set of dinosaurs. That just means something to the average person that is different than calling birds dinosaurs. And so I think it's a fun fact. We get it. They're dinosaurs. But I think it's better conceptually to think of dinosaurs as this larger group that lived, died in the Cretaceous, and birds as, yes, dinosaurs that survived and flourished into all these other forms. That's my take. So I forget if that's take or leave. It's leave.
It's leave. You left it.
Yeah, I'm going to expand upon that. It's like people don't even know what dinosaurs are. I mean, how many times would you be like, it's like pterodactyl, not a dinosaur. Yeah, it's like no, it's like
it's an archosaur.
Yeah, nobody knows what the hell a dinosaur is. So it's like, are we going to complicate that? At least we can be like, it's got feathers, except for when it's the bald head of a roseate spoonbill. It's
very dinosaurian.
I mean, I appreciate. I would just say like. And Nick actually touched on it immediately, which was like, this would be the way to get toddlers into birds. Like, it's a dinosaur. And it's just like, you're like dragging them out, at 4 o'clock in the morning to listen to owls. And they're just like,
the toddler will be the one that says, no, it's not.
Yeah. It's and then listing the ones that actually are, and then all of their, like, when they went extinct. I'm like, I love kids. But that is, it is a way to appeal to somebody without a lot of sophistication.
Sure. There are some great books written about it.
I am also going to leave it. Yep.
Such as Dinosaurs to Chickens, How Evolution Works, which I wrote in 2020.
Like a book that someone
pick that up, and kids can learn all about it. But I think for most people, I don't know, maybe I grew up in the Jurassic Park world where sort of that I think of that world of creatures as dinosaurs, pteranodons accepted and other things, but it's just not helpful, I think, to if we just abandon the term birds, because there are a whole suite of characteristics that are unique to the birds that we have today that weren't shared by most of the dinosaurs. So no, let's just leave it at the understanding now and move on.
Agree. I am also going to leave it. Though I appreciate the conversation. JaxQuam7257 says on YouTube, birds come in 2 forms, dinosaurs or aliens. Example, roadrunner versus brown-headed cowbird. Ellen Edelman says, just listen to a great blue heron. If that's not a dinosaur, I don't know what is. I will take that even further and say that Steven Spielberg should re-release the original Jurassic Park, but every time that the Tyrannosaurus Rex roars, it should be the squawk of a great blue heron. I just really want to drive that point home.
I think that they should just swap in, get rid of the T-Rex entirely and just have everybody the guy on the toilet chopped by a great blue heron. I'm into that.
Yeah. Your move, Spielberg.
Yeah.
We're going to do 2 more, and we're going to take a quick break before the next one. We've got some more testimonials we want to get to, but we're going to do 2 more hot takes. Stay tuned. Stay with us, folks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ioana, and I have been an ABA member since I was 15, which is the first time that I participated in the Young Birder of the Year mentoring program. I'm honored to now run that program, and as the coordinator, I get to work with really incredible young birders from all over the ABA area and even a few international participants. I'm also one of the associate editors of Birding magazine, and I get to do all kinds of fun stuff for the magazine, but my favorite part is running the celebrations column, which is where I receive stories from ABA members, such as yourselves, about your lifers and any other special stories that you want to celebrate. I want to take this moment to plug specifically the Young Birder membership, which is for anyone 23 and under. So if there is someone in your life who is 23 and under, they receive the top tier of membership benefits for only $20 a year. So it's a really incredible deal, and I feel like not enough people know about it. So hopefully that is helpful information for you and the young people in your life. All right, thank you so much.
Hola, I'm Carlos Betancourt from Panama with the Canopy family. I have been connected to birding since I was 9 years old, thanks to my grandmother. At the time, I didn't even realize that birding was a hobby, or there were more people like me that share the same passion and love for birds. Thanks to that childhood experience, today I can say that I do what I love for a living. For the past 25 years, I have been guiding here in Panama, people from different parts of the world, to share with them the beautiful biodiversity and beautiful bird life that we have here in Panama. So through my connection with the American Birding Association, I have seen firsthand the wonderful job that they have been doing with different organizations and different people in my country. For example, they have shared binoculars with local people that today are professional guides. So thanks to that opportunity to have access to enjoy birding using a good pair of binoculars, camera, or recording, today I can say that I can see the wonderful job that the ABA have done here in Panama. So for me, birding is more than seeing birds. It is about connection, it is about conservation, and it is about inspiring others to love and enjoy this beautiful world. So today I want to invite you to join the American Birding Association and be part of this great organization. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you out in the field.
Hey, we're back. I'm Nate Swick. That's Martha Harbison and Nick Lund, and we have got a couple more birding hot takes to cover with you today. This has been fun. I've really enjoyed it. You all have been fantastic. Let's do a serious one. This one I enjoyed, and if I can find it here, this is by Bygone Scenarian from Reddit. Not all species are equally deserving of the protection afforded by the Migratory Bird Act. Looking at you, Canada Goose.
Well,
this man's gonna catch hands.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is
gonna catch beaks.
The truth is that not all species are protected under that Migratory Bird Treaty Act.
Yes, that was the first thing that came to mind for me.
Right, and so already, I mean, that is true in that sense, in that a lot of game birds like turkeys and grouse and bobwhites and birds like that, and also non-native species like starlings and house sparrows are not covered already. So that is true, but God darn, this in 2026, you are not going to get me to agree to weaken protections for any species of bird in the United States. We need not only all the protections we have right now, but many more. As Martha alluded to earlier, if you have a problem with Canada geese, which some cities do, there are ways to get a permit to address the situation. And so you can do that. We do not need to be getting rid of species that we don't like. We need to be adding protections for wildlife and beefing up our wildlife laws rather than ripping them down.
Yes, 100%. I think that a golf course wrote this take, actually, so I can which I can appreciate. Maybe you're having some challenges with your local Canada geese. But I mean, if you actually knew the history of Canada geese,
there you go.
I mean, that's like a perfect example of a bird that needed protections. And yes, like now it's challenging, but there's like a whole scientific reason why we have challenges with Canada geese now. So we can like make fun of scientists for a while. But another one that like another bird that gets like targeted, like Canada geese are definitely like in the crosshairs. Another bird that always gets the short end of the stick here are, I mean, as a class, gulls, and in particular herring gulls. And I mean, but those birds, if you know anything about them, they're declining because for a lot of complicated reasons. So yeah, I'm certainly never going to advocate that we should lessen protections for certain species just because they aren't, I don't know, they don't satisfy something in your soul, or because they stole your ice cream cone, you know.
I don't know.
No, absolutely. So it's like, as far as like, anyway,
Tell that to a kid who just has ice cream cone stolen.
I'll be
that works.
Cry harder. I'm just going to congratulate.
All the way.
I'm just going to congratulate him on his conservation action.
Another hot take about bird feeding.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So I'm going to leave this. I leave this one entirely. I get I get that some species are really annoying, but that's not, that's kind of like some birders are annoying, but there's no reason to,
Man, we're lucky to be annoyed by birds.
yeah, I know,
You know,
right?
imagine a world where we can't even be annoyed by them because there's so few.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Leaving it and just acknowledging that there is a hunting season for Canada geese. So, granted, there's not a hunting season probably at your local, sports field complex or golf course or places where people tend to get annoyed by them. But there could be. There are culls of Canada geese. There are ways to deal with them, as Nick said. Yeah, gonna leave it. As you said, I don't know. There's nothing I can add on to this. Birds are in trouble. We need all the birds we can get. Even Canada geese. People hate Canada geese, but I feel like they kind of love to hate Canada geese, and they would miss Canada geese.
Beautiful
if
birds
they weren't
too.
there.
I love them.
They're the best.
Yeah.
I love Canada geese. Even you just look at, they're beautiful. They've got personality.
Yeah.
I don't like them when they're hissing at me. That's the one time I don't, but that's my problem.
I mean, the last time one hissed at me, it was like trying to go after my donut that was in my hand, and I was like, I was like,
try harder.
I was like, you want a piece of this? Come on! I was like trying to pick a fight with a goose, but which I would have lost. But
who among us hasn't? Yeah.
I pay to see that though.
Yeah, no doubt.
ABA pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll think about it for the next
GMA.
member drive. That's something to keep in mind. I know how to reach you, Martha. Yeah, so leave it definitely. Quick shout outs to some folks who have joined the ABA in the minutes that we've been talking. Nicole from Minneapolis, Minnesota. AJ and Lauren from Gainesville, Virginia. Liam from Manitowoc, Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure I got that right. Not sure. Douglas from Baxter, Minnesota. Colin, hey Colin, I know you're in the comments from Middlesbrough, UK, and Arlene from Lansing, Michigan. Thank you so much for joining the ABA and for that matching donation that goes to the ABA's coffers to help us continue to do a lot of great bird research. Yeah, Midwest coming through.
In the house.
That's right. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back with one more. Thanks, y'all.
Hi, my name's Jax, new to birding, and I'm new to the ABA. Over the past year, I've been dealing with the constant grief of losing my brother and struggling with postpartum depression. That's when I found the magic of birding. It's really the thing that has helped me heal the most. From sitting out in nature to my backyard, or sitting in a car for 5 hours with a bunch of people I just met. It's the simple reason. The simple reason to get outside, to take a deep breath, and just to focus on something that's not in my own head. And you know who's been there with me all the way, who's provided me community and resources I needed to turn my hobby into a passion? The American Birding Association. Let me tell you, with memberships starting at just $30 a year, you aren't getting just shop discounts, just travel opportunities. You're also supporting a community that fosters healing, connecting, and the joys through birding. To learn more about membership benefits, visit aba.org/membership.
Hello to all you current and future ABA members. My name is Chris Sloan and I'm recording this from my yard in Nashville, Tennessee. I serve as the chair of the ABA Board of Directors. Birding means everything to me. Since the day I first discovered birding as a preteen, seeing my first bald eagle at Reelfoot Lake, birding has impacted every facet of my life. Personally, professionally, socially, competitively, and even spiritually. It's impossible to envision my life without birding, and the ABA has almost always been at the heart of that. I remember reading Birding magazine from cover to cover and dreaming about the day I might eventually get to visit places like Southeast Arizona and South Texas, or the day I might see my first black-capped petrel or broad-billed hummingbird. I devoured every identification article, every guide to a birding location, every rare bird alert. As I've grown older, I've been privileged to experience many of those things, but there are always more birds to see, always more places to go, and the ABA still inspires my excitement about what the future might hold. If you want to be a part of an organization whose mission it is to make birding better, please go to aba.org/membership and become a member today. Thanks And I have to go because there's a bay-breasted warbler right there.
We are back. I'm Nate Swick. I host the American Birding Podcast and What's This Bird every once in a while here on the ABA's YouTube channel. That is Martha Harbison of Audubon National. That is Nick Lund, the birdist of Maine Audubon. We have got one more hot take for you all out on the internet. I hope that you will stay with us. And this is one that I admit I cannot really relate a whole lot to, but I'm going to throw it out there too, just in case there are some people out there who it can relate to. This is from Mr. Neffels on Reddit. Birding is harder when you're tall. Everyone tells me it must be nice to get different angles, but usually I'm having to crouch down, and also birds or wildlife in general views me as a bigger threat. Take or leave. I'm not a tall man, so I cannot really speak to that, but I'm sympathetic at least.
I mean, it's hilarious to think about. I must confess, I've never really thought about it. I mean, it must be also true that you do get better angles in some cases, right? That has to be true.
Stand in the back of a group, yeah.
Yeah, or you're looking over the heat shimmer, that's blocking everybody else.
Closer
but sure,
to the
nobody
warblers
likes
in the
to bend
trees.
down or crouch. I mean, but those are the two, I hate crouching for any reason. And I get that must be annoying too. I don't know.
My partner is almost 6'5",
there you go.
6'4". So, sometimes I have a better angle because I'm 5'7". I have a better angle into the skulky birds. We do a lot of, especially in springtime, we're like looking for oven birds and everybody that's like hanging out in shrubs. And I can find them pretty quickly. And then there's the crouching where it's like essentially watching my spouse like fold himself down into this tiny little, and it's always, and we're at an age too where you're just like, oh,
yeah, I know. Every time it's getting up, that's the worst part. It's worse than
making noise as we're like compacting down, and I'm like, yeah, I'm down here. So I actually think that it might be true, but then again, there are times when he can see over something.
Right.
That he's really good at finding secretive marsh birds, and I'm there like staring through the Phragmites. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's in there.
You
so
can see over the Phragmites.
yeah, he's not quite over, but it's like, but he does actually have a different view. Sparrows too, actually. So I think yes, I'll take it.
Do you think it's true that that birds see them as tall people as bigger threats just because they're taller, or are they just like, you're a human? I'm like, we're already terrified of you.
Taller people I don't know if bigger threats, they might make more noise. I mean,
taller profile, like in an open country situation.
The nerves have to travel a much longer distance, and so
feet clomping around.
Tall people are kind of like thump 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 through the forest, where
through bushes and stuff.
Oh my God, we're gonna dinner tonight. Tonight's dinner conversation is gonna be a little strained, I think. He's gonna see this and be like, what?
I'd be curious to hear his perspective. We do have some people commenting, which is nice. John Anderson, he said I'm constantly having to lower my spotting scope to show fellow birders a bird. That I actually sympathize with.
Yes.
While I am not like tall at 5'9"ish, I do need to lower my scope. I do constantly forget to lower my scope because I know that there are people who are much shorter than me using it. So the scope problem, if you're sharing a scope, I definitely see it. But I do get the angled scope specifically to avoid that sort of thing. But even then, I'm always
it's hard, because it's like I watch the spouse using our scope, which is set up for my height, and then it's again just like crabbed over. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
any height differential makes the scope hard.
Yeah.
We have another person, Kevin Sarsfield, says 6'4", and the scope problem is the only problem, constantly lowering and raising. Yes, I sympathize. And like, it's one thing because you look into the scope when it's set for you and you find the bird, and then usually when you lower it, it's close. But sometimes if you've got like a little hole and you've got the scope on something singing and you lower it and all of a sudden you don't realize that, there's branches suddenly in front of it. So yeah. So I guess I sympathize the different view with different sizes, but shout out for our short kings and queens out there enjoying those skulky birds. So there are advantages. Yeah. All right. Well, look, that's as good a way to wrap this up. We'll move on to our next item here on our ABA YouTube-a-thon. I want to thank Martha Harbison and Nick Lund for joining me. If you missed it or missed any part of this is going to go on the ABA podcast feed this week. So I'm going to turn this around and ship it right on out. I want to thank you all for a great discussion. I want to thank all the people online for adding to the discussion. That's a fun angle for these Take It or Leave It episodes, to have live commentary from people. I know I always get some emails afterwards, so it's cool to have that stuff coming in as we have these discussions. And of course, as part of the ABA membership drive, share the aba.org/join, aba.org/membership. Both of those URLs will take you to the right places and help us. Thank you all. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Nick. And we'll see you all down the road. Have a great end to your spring.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, folks.
Thank you. Bye, Martha. Bye, Nate.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Nate, that was fantastic.
Yeah, that worked out really well.
Yeah, we're on
there,
we're live on break? 2 up here now. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing
I've
the
got a
thing.
little bit of a delay, so I'm not really sure. I thought I was completely off. It's like, oh, thank God.
No, not yet. Not yet. We've been in these chairs for 2.5 hours. And
I know. My voice is starting to get scratchy.
Well, you're almost done here. You're almost done. We're gonna be going to a special episode of What's This Bird called What's This Gull with Ayyash. Where is it? Here it is in my stack of books.
Throw it up there.
Author of runaway bestseller, The Gull Guide.
Bestseller among a very
Princeton University Press.
Bestseller of our audience. For
in
sure.
its second printing, he said.
Is that right? Good for that.
Yeah. So, you guys, the whole purpose of today's program is to get you guys to join, and hopefully you have enjoyed what we're doing here today. And we have, I don't know where we're at. We have a goal here. I think we're doing pretty darn.
A lot.
I think we're doing pretty darn good. But
I want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick shout out to Kenneth from Salt Lake City, Utah, who just joined. Got put on the list. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for joining the ABA. Welcome.
Yeah, and as Nate had mentioned earlier, for the duration of today, if you join, it doesn't matter if you join at the young birder level at $20 or a family at I think it's $80. An extra $100 will be put into the ABA's coffers by a very generous donor. So
they're our nest, y'all.
Exactly. Keep these things going. So yeah, man, that was a great take it or leave it, and I think you might want to consider doing these live on YouTube like this, and then
you might. It's fun
because
it's a fun way to do it. Yeah,
it's fun, yeah. And like you said, the audience participation is
fantastic.
An
added bonus.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, Nate, I thank you so much, and we are going to get to What's This Gull here in just a moment. So hang loose, folks. We will be rocking and rolling.
Thanks, everybody.
Hi, I'm Vernon Buckle, a birder from Labrador and a member of the American Birding Association. Whether it's a sea watch at Point Amour, exploring the Birch Island Boardwalk at Goose Bay, or enjoying my home patch here at English Point, there's always that sense that something special could appear at any moment. It might be a familiar species, or something completely unexpected, like the moment I found the yellow-breasted bunting in my backyard, the first and only Canadian record. That sense of discovery never gets old. Over time, I've found some incredible records across Labrador, all the while enjoying the most common species in a place that can be both challenging and extremely rewarding. But what surprised me the most is how birding connects you beyond the place you're standing. Through the American Birding Association, I've been able to connect with a wider community of people who share the same passion and curiosity, no matter how far away you are. If you love birds or just want to learn more, I really encourage you to join the ABA, especially things like the birding magazine and resources they offer to help you grow as a birder. Go to aba.org/membership. It's a great way to be part of something bigger. Thanks for listening, and happy birding.
Hey y'all, this is Rebecca Minardi. I am the book and media reviews editor for Birding Magazine. I am in lovely Springbrook Prairie right now in Naperville, Illinois. I have been a birder since 2012, and if I even spend 30 minutes in the morning birding, I spend the rest of the day happier and I feel more connected to the wider world. I've been a part of the ABA since 2019. I joined to get access to Birding Magazine, and then in 2022 I got hired to be the book and media reviews editor. I love being part of the ABA. It is such a wonderful resource connecting birders, promoting conservation projects, and my favorite thing about the ABA is the Young Birder Mentoring Program, where kids as young as 11 are learning about birds and submitting writing, art, and conservation projects. And as a mentor, I have been so inspired by these kids. If you join the ABA, it's only $30. You get access to Birding Magazine, which is a really cool resource. And you also support the incredible programs like Young Birder of the Year and others. So please consider joining, and happy birding.
Oh, hi there. This is Noah Stricker. I'm associate editor of Birding Magazine here in Eugene, Oregon, where I grew up. I remember when I was in 5th grade here, my teacher put a bird feeder on our classroom window, like that suction cupped onto the glass, and she would stop class when a new bird showed up, and that's all it took. I got hooked on birds, but then I was like this little kid going, what's next? And I remember one of the first things I did was I joined the ABA, and I started getting Birding Magazine in my mailbox. I participated in the Young Birder of the Year program, and those things really plugged me into the birding community for the first time, and that kind of changed my life. And so now studying birds and writing about them is what I do. I think there couldn't be a better job in the world, and the ABA is still around. It's got all kinds of benefits, Birding Magazine, etc., and events and stuff like that. So it's spring migration here. I'm gonna get back to birding. I can hear a western tanager behind me, but thank you.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, and I want to bring you into a really fantastic new episode that we're going to do here today of What's This Bird, called What's This Gull? And we've got my Chicago area birding pal, birding brother, Ayyash, also author of The Gull Guide, the runaway bestseller from Princeton University Press. Amar, how you doing?
Doing well, Greg. How are you? It's good to see you.
Likewise, likewise. So what's shaking?
Oh, not much. Doing some traveling and getting done with the school year, and just waiting for the next big gull.
And what do you think that's going to be? You already got the kelp gull.
Oh man,
I don't know how you can top that.
You know, we need a kelp gull in Illinois. I was expecting that bird from Wisconsin to come south this winter. Nobody saw it over the winter.
It went through here, but we just didn't get it.
It must have. It was probably in your backyard at one point.
Yeah.
But Heermann's gull would be nice in Illinois. Heermann's or kelp, either one.
Yeah, yeah. And Heermann's gull, I think there's some summer records of those that have been in the Great Lakes. I think it was summer record from Ohio, if I remember correctly. So, hey, the Gull Guide, it's in its second printing now, isn't it?
It is. And it's still selling like hotcakes. I keep getting emails from folks telling me it's changed their approach to Gull ID. So I think something's worked out correctly.
I think I have a copy here. There it is.
There you go. Yeah.
There it is. And one of the things we're going to talk about here, and you can correct me because you know the bird. That's funny. I just realized you scribbled in my copy. Herring gulls are complex. Herring gull in this book takes up, if I remember right, some like 45 pages.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. It deserves that amount of attention. I think you would agree, right?
I would agree.
Oh.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, if you can get over American herring gull in the east, because they're completely different taxon in the west. I don't think we fully understand American herring gulls in the west.
Yeah.
Due to that glaucous wing influence, mainly.
Yeah.
Nobody's really just taken the time to look at the herring gulls in Alaska. So, but in the east, they're very doable, and I think for eastern birders and interior birders, if you can get over the variation in some of those first cycle herring gulls, you're on your way.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things that we want to talk about here is there's sort of basics that you can get through, but what am I trying to say? You know what? Let's just cut to the first set of graphics here and start talking about it.
You got some graphics.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So we've got American herring gull here on the left. We've got lesser blackback gull on the right, and sort of the theme for this what's this bird is summer manky kind of grungy gulls that hang out on the beaches and cough up chicken bones all summer long. And so you go to a beach on any of the coasts, Great Lakes, or garbage dumps, other places. There's a boatload of gulls that just look like these, and they're hard to tell apart. And lesser blackback and herring is one of the real conundrums, well, for a lot of people at any time of the year where there's young birds, but especially in summer where they're beat up and they're just kind of mangy. But the reason I kind of brought up the 45 pages or so of herring gulls in your book is because they are complex, they are complicated, but like once you figure out the gist of it, you can see the pattern and kind of figure out where things fit in there. So what do you like? Just kind of start at the top left and let's work around it. And what are we looking at?
Yeah. So overall, when I see young juvenile lesser blackback gulls compared to that American herring on the top left there, they do have a different shape to them. I think that's important to begin with, the shape, because they seem on average shorter legged, longer winged. You can kind of see that in all of these birds. The top two lesser blackbacks there do have this longer wing projection. They also seem to be thinner in the vent region. If you look right at the lower belly there, there's just less depth to the body.
Yep.
And the herring gulls just look overall thicker from the breasts all the way to the vent region. That in addition to some structural features in the head. Look at that first lesser blackback on the top right. It just seems to have a shallower back of the head.
I see what you're talking about.
Even the third bird, the third lesser blackback down, it has a shallow top to the head compared to those herring gulls. But plumage-wise, month for month, we're talking, lesser blackback's just going to have a paler white head, paler breast, paler vent region, whereas American herring just seems to be darker in all those parts.
Well, except when they're not, because you look at the two birds on the lower left, and they're not. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing I've noticed is that lesser blackbacks never really get as bleached out as American herring gulls do.
Yeah, so when they replace those first set of coverts, the coverts overall are darker, more solid brown. And yeah, you're right. They don't get as bleached as some of those American herrings, like those bottom two on the left there. By the time we get around to June, July, most of those lesser blackbacks have replaced all of the wing coverts, and so they look like the bottom two on the right there. But another tip I'm sure many watchers are familiar with is the black bill. Lesser blackback seems to keep that black bill longer into spring and even early summer. Yeah, those herring gulls on the bottom left there, those are tough. If you put those on the West Coast somewhere, they would just be question marks.
Right.
And then you put them on the Atlantic, and most people would just default to American herring because, you know, what else looks like that on the Atlantic? They don't look like great blackback gulls. And the new scapulars on the back don't look solid and dark enough for lesser blackback gull. So there's a lot of pieces you're trying to put together depending on the time of the year. And so you learn some field marks for these two in the fall, and you have to have a new set of field marks in late winter, early spring, because now some of the plumage features that you were practicing with in the fall are no longer relevant when you have a bird in molt or a bird that's bleached and worn like those bottom two herring gulls.
Yeah.
And so, you know, everything is with Gull ID, at least these large gulls, what time of year, of course, and then your expectations should largely be tied to what are the probabilities that this is a lesser blackback versus, say, an American herring, and where your location is really important. So, I mean, needless to say, this is how bird ID works in general, but with gulls, especially true to take location and time of year into consideration.
Yeah, but you know, again, with summer gulls, there's part of the reason, well, the main reason you go out there and kind of work through them, A, just to gain the knowledge, but B, you're looking for something good. You know, you want to find that stray Iceland gull or that stray kelp gull, but yeah, you're looking for something good out there in summer. And in places in the Great Lakes, I think it was 2 summers ago, you and I were up in Wisconsin, and we had, I forget how many lesser blackbacks on that beach, like 250 lesser blackback gulls.
Yeah, and what's funny is you have people who've been birding for decades, 2-3 decades, who will go out to the same beach and report most of those birds as American herring gulls. So I think it's a largely underreported, underappreciated ID challenge.
Yeah.
But getting back to those lesser blackbacks on the right there, especially the third one down, I was talking about molt and summer birds. That bird has a primary projection that's pretty short. That third bird.
Yep.
And so that's a important observation is that bird is in molt. It looks kind of thick in the back, but that's mainly because the way it's holding its vent feathers, they're kind of held low there, and it's molting, and so it doesn't have that long wing projection that you expect.
Right.
But those solid brown tertials, solid brown greater coverts, the mostly black bill, and they do still seem to have that black patch around the eye.
Yep.
A lot of them. And it contrasts really well with the white head in the middle of summer. So not all of them, but many of them do. And so,
and I think a lot of them also, as they get older and approach third cycle and get into third cycle. I mean, by third cycle, they're pretty much identifiable as a blackback gull versus a herring gull. But the black bill, they get that strange kind of blood orange tip on the black bill that's really unique. And I don't know, it's maybe about 20% of them that get that, but at least in my guesstimation. But it's kind of unique. But you know, one thing I've noticed about lesser blackbacks is that as they age, they look more like blackback gulls, whereas herring gulls, as they age. So you've got that fresh, young herring gull at the top left there, and it just looks like it's a very obvious fresh young herring gull. Now, in other parts of the world, we might be having a different discussion, but in most of the ABA area, that's what you expect. And then as those birds get older, they get paler and start looking less like a herring gull.
Yeah.
Whereas lesser blackback gulls, as they get older, they start looking more like a lesser blackback gull.
That's interesting. That's an interesting observation, especially that bottom right one there. Right, it's like solid. You see tones of that lead gray on the back of that lesser blackback. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about these birds in flight, because
we're on it.
Yeah, anytime you have, a bird that you think may not be what you expect it to be, the first thing you want to do is get that open wing, that tail shot, right?
Yep.
And so I see in those flight shots of those juveniles on the top two.
Yep.
Some obvious things, the pale inner primaries on the American herring,
which is the bird on the top there.
Yeah, the topmost bird has those pale inner primaries, which we refer to as a pale window.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the lesser blackback's tail is a pretty defined tail band. I can see that it doesn't have a dark tail base.
I think usually the wider rump of a lesser blackback, and again, in these plumages, these birds are so variable, not as variable as some other species, which we'll be getting to in a moment. But the combination of that paler rump and the white base to the outer tail feathers, it creates that band effect that you really notice when they get up and fly away from you, versus just the dark tail of an American herring gull.
Yeah, certainly. Size-wise, if somebody's wondering how helpful is size, there are some beefy lesser blackback gulls that can come close to American herring gull size, if not easily match their size. But in general, like I mentioned at the beginning, they're overall a little more compact, shorter legged, and usually appear a little bit smaller than American herring. Some of the earlier literature in the early 90s, late 1980s, insisted that they were always lesser blackbacks were always smaller than American herring gull, and that's just not true. You have this sexual variation where male lesser blackbacks can be just as big as American herring.
Yeah. And one other thing I noticed too, and you can see it on the juvenile, the second bird down flying, is that it's just much more patterned. The pattern is stronger and seems like more detailed. Maybe drawn less with a pastel and more with some kind of a thick pencil. And the
more contrast.
More contrast, and just darker overall. And you can kind of see that in that second herring gull on the left standing, the grayer one. Everything's kind of smudgy and blurry, like it's been painted on with or drawn on with pastels. And I think that lesser blackbacks all the way through, at least the ones on the right there, the markings on the underparts are much more precise. There's a little more streaking, a little more, they're not so cloudy. And where they do get kind of cloudy, even that, there's like a little vermiculation or something to it. It's just not as smudgy.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely.
So now what about those second and second cycles down there that are all molting and falling apart? Hey, one thing I noticed that I didn't notice when I was putting this together. So that is not a Photoshop mishap on that herring gull. That's the second from the bottom flying.
Yeah.
The background I chose is Kodak's like an 18% gray. and it's almost exactly the same color and tone as the feathering on that bird, and it looks like there's parts of it missing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until you mentioned that, but it does look like those white tips are just floating in the air.
Yeah,
something.
but they're not.
So we should point out, yeah, that's a third cycle, and it has those adult-like inner primaries with the white tips and the gray centers. And the lesser blackback, the lowest lesser blackback in flight with the white rump, black tail band, that's a second cycle. And I would guess those were probably June birds, if I had to guess. Maybe June for both of those birds in flight.
Okay.
So that's a fun time of year to see these new primaries start to grow in and see the new molt cycle taking place. It's quite easy when you start to see the pale gray on those herring gulls,
right?
Like the one left there. But second cycle lesser blackbacks, the tail band is usually enough to separate them from American herring if you can get an open tail like that.
All right, so how would you summarize this? What we've just all done here. How would you summarize all of this?
On average, I would say the fresher they are, the easier it is. Obviously, but we're talking about birds we're going to be seeing next month in June and through the summer. You want structure to help you shape. Overall, the compact head and straight bill of lesser blackback is helpful in the summer. But you're also going to be seeing darker, solid upper parts on these molting lesser blackbacks, like the bottom two on the right there. And then get a glimpse of that tail band. The tail band should be sufficient, I think, for the entire summer. You should be seeing a more narrow tail band.
Yeah.
And just darker chocolate brown upper parts on these lesser blackbacks.
Yeah, and you can see that that third or that second cycle lesser blackback at the bottom has a much better defined tail band than the first cycle above it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of contrast there with the white upper tail coverts. Most herrings, even when they replace those upper tail coverts, they still show a little bit of barring along the bases.
Yeah.
That bird has all white tail base, which is really nice.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, listen, hey, before we get on to the next one, we're going to take just a little break here. So we'll be back in just a second, guys. So hang loose.
Hey, my name is J. Drew Lanham, and I am a member of ABA. I am also a lifelong birder and bird watcher and bird adorer. That means that I am odd. That is to say, I'm ornithologically distracted on a daily basis. But I'm happily odd, and ABA gives me an opportunity to be a member of an odd community. And so I am grateful for the kinship. I'm grateful for the embrace. I'm grateful for, again, a community of folks who think about birds in the ways that I think about them. And so as I set about my conservation mission and melding that with culture, ABA gives me a platform from which I can do that. So thank you, ABA, for being who you are. Thank you to my odd compatriots who wear binoculars as accoutrement. And I'm grateful to every bird that there is, ever was, and will be for giving me joy. Peace.
All right, we're back. I am here with Ayyash, and I seem to have lost your audio, Amar.
Oh no!
Oh, there we got you.
Done all right.
Yeah, I think when you leaned back, your noise cancellation kicked in.
Oh no.
No worries. All right, so we are going to move on to our next set of birds here, and this is one that, well, we're just going to get right into it, and we'll talk about it on the other side here. There we go. This is one that people in the Great Lakes are always on the lookout for, because ring-billed gull, which is on the left here, that is the default gull in the Great Lakes. And the short-billed gull on the right, formerly mew gull for the olds like me, they're a western species, a Pacific Coast species, primarily a Pacific Northwest species. But they do get around, as all gulls do. And when you get a big flock of ring-billed gulls, you want to try to find a short-billed in there. And we actually, in the Chicago area this past winter, we had quite an exciting thing happen with the short-billed gull. Amar, what happened there? Because you were involved in that front and center.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. I was following up on an adult short-billed gull that Bo Schaefer found at Waukegan Harbor in Lake County, Illinois. This is on Lake Michigan in February. I was actually in New York at the Natural History Museum looking at short-billed gull and Kamchatka gull specimens for a paper that I'm working on. And people start sending me photos of this bird in Waukegan, Illinois. Like, oh, well, there goes my Lake County short-billed gull for the year. I'm not going to see that bird. I got back a few days after, and I followed up on the short-billed that was only seen for one day. Now, this is a very confusing short-billed gull that showed some Kamchatka gull features. It was a big bird. It had fairly dark upper parts. I didn't see it in person, so I don't have the exact impression of this bird in real life. But following up a few days later, I went out, and in this ring-billed flock is this large, dark, ring-billed size mew gull, for lack of a better description. And it turned out to be a bird that was not a short-billed gull. And the best idea I could come up with was Old World Russian common gull. So this is an intermediate subspecies of common gull that nests east of Russia, west of Mongolia, in those regions, in those parts. It's never been confirmed in North America or anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. But needless to say, this is a very exciting sighting where there were moments of, what is this thing? Why is it so dark? Why is it so large? And I watched it for about a half hour from a distance before the bird actually flew in and showed its open wing and paler eye. So it was a great time. It was a great learning moment for, I think, a lot of birders in Illinois. And if accepted, it should be accepted, our first confirmed Russian common gull in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, that was wild. That was absolutely wild. So, looking at these young and summer gulls here, you know what? There's a structural thing going on. Like I said, we've got ring-billed gull on the left. We've got short-billed gull on the right. I've got a pretty petite, particularly petite-billed ring-billed there on the top left. That would really, I think that would throw a lot of people off, that particular bird.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that top ring-billed gull, all juvenile plumage there. The bill is probably still developing, still growing a little bit. So that's probably a June, July juvenile. But you can see from the upper parts, it's not as neatly patterned as that short-billed gull on the right.
Yeah.
So it was a good amount of notching on the edges, just more contrasty upper parts that look messier overall than the short-billed. The short-billed is showing some really nice uniform pale edging to the upper parts. If you zoom in on those tertials, they have these nice pale straight white edging along the tips there.
Yep.
But overall, I think if you saw that short-billed gull in a flock of ring-bills, you would agree it looks too neat, too bug-eyed maybe, and overall just sleeker than most ring-billed gulls. And that's another one that's going to appear shortly, a little bit more short-legged, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller head overall, but we often refer to them as miniature Thayer's gulls. If you're familiar with Thayer's gulls.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, they have that neat pattern on the upper parts. They're not as contrasty. They're almost like a small white-winger, small Thayers.
And they're kind of like the herring versus lesser blackback. They're a bit smudgier overall in the areas that. So the mantle, at least in this very fresh juvenile plumage, the mantle is very crisply marked. You know, like you said, it's got that real almost perfect fringing on it. It doesn't have the kind of notchy and spangly pattern. But then the rest of the bird is kind of smudgy and dark. And it's not, it never really looks streaked very much.
Yeah, we can throw in European common gull for interest. That's a good feature there, the smudgy neck on that short-billed gull.
Yeah.
You'd almost never see that in an old world common gull. You'd expect the streaking, the spotting, as opposed to that smudge, blotted pattern on the neck and breast there.
Yeah, that older short-billed gull in the center right there, that second cycle, you can still see it's got that smudging around the back of the neck, kind of like a cowl, and they tend to hang on to that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I see that on that second cycle, which incidentally just happens to have enough gray on the back that you can tell that bird's a little bit darker than the ring-billed gull in the center there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the kind of smooth, the smooth brown, like the colors are just smoother and they blend better than ring-billed. Ring-billed always, God, keep up. The ring-billed always tends to have that kind of spangly pattern on the upper wing. You know, like the whole wing panel. It's confused. It's not that smooth kind of coloration that you get in a short-billed gull like that.
I agree. I would take short-billed gull over ring-billed gull in a beauty contest.
I didn't think that's where you were going, but all right.
No, I would take short-billed gull. They look, like you said, on the wing covers there. They just look a little more uniform and
sure.
less confused.
And I think as those birds get older, and you can see it on the bird on the right there, center, the short-billed gull, you can't see it too well in any of the others, but short-billed gull has a broader tertial crescent, so the white edging on those three big wing feathers at the base, the inside most feathers, they have a much broader white tip than ring-billed. Ring-billed is like it almost doesn't have a tertial crescent at all. It's just sort of like the wing panel gets a little bit whiter over there, and it doesn't really show much of a crescent. And I noticed that one time when we had one adult short-billed gull among I don't know how many hundreds, not thousands of ring-bills and hundreds of California gulls or dozens of California gulls at Cherry Creek Reservoir in Colorado. It's like when you were able to get on it, the short-billed gull really stood out because of that very broad tertial crescent in relation to the other two.
Yeah, I think if you're used to seeing ring-billed gulls, when you see that short-billed, you do notice it. It contrasts more because of the darker gray upper part. It contrasts more when you see that white against the gray versus a ring-billed. Incidentally, Greg, I have a paper coming up in North American Birds on common gulls and short-billed gull. The focus is common gulls in the east, but I do talk about this conundrum of short-billed gulls now regularly being seen east of the Mississippi. We had a really good winter for them. And so the challenge now is not just short-billed gull, ring-billed gull. There's also more and more common gulls being seen on the Great Lakes.
Yeah, and I used to think that was just people not knowing how to identify them and just not seeing them, but I don't think that's the case. I think, I tend to think with a lot of rare bird sightings, just vagrants in general, that the reason there seems to be more vagrants now than there were 25 years ago or more is because there's more people out birding, and especially more people out birding with cameras. And, you look at the What's This Bird group on Facebook, and it seems like every month or so, somebody is, what the heck is this? And it's a mega of some proportion somewhere. That would never have been, that bird would have never been found if it weren't for a person out there with a camera taking pictures of it. In the case of these gulls, though, I don't think that's true, because at least for as long as I've been birding, there have been birders like me and, really good birders out there picking apart gull flocks, trying to find a common gull or whatever it is. And they weren't there, but now they are.
Interesting. Yeah. There's some interesting dynamics there to be chewed over.
Well, and just before you go on, going back to lesser blackback gull, I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, but I remember seeing the first Illinois record of lesser blackback gull in Jackson Park in 1980. It was an April bird. It was an adult. It was gorgeous. And I mean, people from like 3 states around came flying, running in to see this lesser blackback gull. And now we find 250 of them on the beach, and don't really think too much about it. And I think that's starting to happen with common gull, that these birds are being found. Say when I started fantasy birding not too long ago, the only slam dunk place for common gull was Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Lake Captivity in the winter. That was it. But now there's 2 or 3 that show up in New England somewhere.
Yep. Massachusetts.
Every year. Yeah.
Yeah. No, who would have ever thought you can go out to the Atlantic and see a Kamchatka gull every winter for like the last 10 years now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They've been showing up. And for those of you watching who don't know what a Kamchatka gull is, that's the East Asian common gull that breeds mostly on the Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia and thereabouts. And like slatyback gull and blacktail, but more so slatyback. I mean, slatybacks, that's just crazy. That's another bird that in my lifetime has gone from 0 to regular in the East. And all right, let's get back to these birds. So let's work on down the graphic here.
Well, those bottom 2 are they're a mess. It's got to be maybe July now. I would say easily late June, July for those bottom 2.
Mm-hmm.
But what you notice is the bill size, right? You got pink bill base on that ring bill. That's a bulky bill compared to that small, narrow, tapered tip on the short-billed gull. I could also see the short-billed gull has slightly darker gray scapulars. If you have that in good lighting, you're going to notice that difference. But overall, there's not much to be made out of those wing coverts or even the tail or primaries in that condition. The birds in flight are interesting. You picked a tricky ring-billed gull on the top there, that juvenile in flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I kind of
Greg, that could be a California gull in Utah. That could be a lesser black gull in Europe. That's a tricky first cycle juvenile ring-billed gull, because usually those birds are going to show more silvery gray inner primaries and more silvery gray greater coverts. But you picked a
more like the short-billed gull below.
Yeah, I see what you're doing there. So the short-billed, again, looks a little more, how should I say, on the upper parts, on the wing, it looks more velvety.
Yeah.
Just not as coarse in the markings. But also, they're going to average darker tail bases, a lot of those short-bills, as you're seeing in that bird on the bottom.
Yeah.
And more barring on the wing coverts, the upper tail coverts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the primary reasons why I picked those two was the tail and rump. But yeah, that ring-billed, one of the reasons I should have thrown another ring-billed in there. You and I had this conversation a few years ago. I think ring-billed gull is one of the most variable in that first 2 years of its life. It may be one of the most variable gulls on the planet. And I remember when you and I did a circumnavigation of Lake Erie, and I was photographing ring-billed gulls, and I came back with probably 800 pictures of 500 to 800 different ring-billed gulls, either by themselves or in flocks. And there's everything from slam dunk common gull tail bands to this bird that we see up here that's very dark, and everything in between. But they're all identifiable as ring-billed gulls without any issue.
That's interesting that you mentioned that. I have a larophile friend from Ireland who he sees first cycle and adult ring-billed gulls on a fairly regular basis. And he's mentioned that our ring-billed gulls in first cycle just seem notoriously variable to him compared to, say, common gull.
Yeah.
Like common gulls, overall, they fit this mold. They all more like look the same, but ring-billed gulls will throw you. You have some that are like that individual there with the fairly dark tail band, that broad tail band, and others that are almost no hints of a tail band, just wavy barring on the tail tips. And then the patterning on the wing covers. That's again, I'm going to say this again, that's a really unusually dark winged ring-billed gull.
It is.
But yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
It is, but like if you squint, and you look at it, it's like the stuff is there. You can see those greater coverts. Yeah, they are. The tips are kind of silvery, and there is some of that going on there. And the window and the inner primaries, the flash, it's there. It's just extremely muted. It's a very, very dark bird. And when you get a group of 1,000 ring-billed gulls on a beach in the Great Lakes in June, you very likely may find one that comes pretty close to this, if not just like it. Yeah, when I wrote that essay for the ABA blog, Birding is Hard, it was about a ring-billed gull. Well, at least my part of it was about a ring-billed gull. There was a bunch of birds in that article. All right, we are going to take another little break here. And so, Amar, you hang loose, and we will be back in just 1 minute.
My name is Jenny Duberstein, and I volunteer as the ABA's Young Birder Liaison and Camp Colorado Director. You might have also heard me talking with Nate Swick and others as a regular guest on the American Birding Podcast, or maybe you've read some of the articles I've written over the years in Birding Magazine. Although I've been working with young birders for many years, I personally didn't get into birding until I was almost done with college. I was studying wildlife biology, and the first job I happened to get was bird-related, working on an osprey reintroduction program in southwestern Pennsylvania, which is where I grew up, outside of Pittsburgh. I quickly became part of a community that's formed the foundation of my life, honestly, from my career to who my closest friends are, to what I spend my time talking about and doing wherever I go. The birding community has always been there for me. The American Birding Association matters to me because it keeps me connected to that community, and I've seen firsthand how it helps create those connections for the next generation of birders. So if you want to be part of this amazing community wherever you live, please consider joining or renewing your membership to the ABA. Visit aba.org/membership to learn more and to join.
We got one more left. Are you ready?
All right, what do you got?
You had your monster during the break. We ready to rock?
Yeah, man.
All right, you mentioned California gull. So that I think is another one of the summer gull most difficult is American herring in California. Now, I specifically left out for this show, I decided not to do Western and glaucous winged, just because in the summertime, that is about as messy a thing as you could ask for. And so we didn't go there. We went here, California and herring. And yeah, these are some messy birds.
Well, yeah, they are. And they're a big treat for us on the Great Lakes when we find those summer California gulls. One of the things that happens with young California gulls is they molt quickly. And so I see that top left California gull. When they start to molt those scapulars, they have these episodes where it's not like a continuous molt. They'll go through this quick molting all the upper scapulars. And then like a month or two later, they'll molt all the lower scapulars. And you'll see that contrast. They're very, very contrasty, different patterned backed birds. Whereas an American herring, it seems to be more uniform when you see those messy scapulars on the that, in addition to the bill pattern, I think by late October, if you know what you're looking for, by late October, most of those California gulls have this brighter pink base to the bill with the black tip there.
Yeah.
But, you know, structurally, to me, they seem small-headed. I notice that every time I go west.
Yeah.
First thing that pops is they're just noticeably smaller-headed than most herring gulls, and they're longer-winged.
And longer billed, and that smaller head and longer bill gives it a distinct shape now and appearance. But one thing that happens in the summer with herring gulls, and all gulls, but herring gulls in particular, is that oftentimes they'll lose the feathering around the base of the bill, and it makes the bill look really long, much longer than it actually is. And then sometimes, like with that second California gull, I think that might be the messiest bird on this page. I'm not 100% sure that herring gull across from it is kind of giving it a run for the money. That bird looks like it's got a fair amount of feathering missing from the base of the bill and is accentuating how long that bill is.
Yeah, that is a long-looking bill on that second California gull.
But I see what you're talking about, the scapulars. It looks almost like somebody took a knife and kind of cut the scaps away from the top of the wing, and you've got this like real contrasty band there.
Yeah. I think more than any other large gull, it's hard to describe the wing coverts on first cycle California gull. If you look at that top bird again on the top left there, that pattern is somewhat unique, but you look at the next 5 California gulls, and none of them will have that pattern of like pale chevrons on the median and lesser coverts.
Right.
So it's California gulls are quite variable on the wing coverts. There's no consistent pattern that I think is easy to put in a field guide. I struggled with it myself when I was trying to describe it. So you have to go with other things like you know, the anchor patterns on the scapulars, the post-ocular line. I see that dark post-ocular line on all the California gulls, maybe except for the second one.
Yep.
And overall, just the longer wings in flight and at rest. Yeah, there's a bunch of goodies we can pick apart here. I don't know if you want to move down to those lower two California gulls.
On the left there, yeah, go for it.
Well, the one with the gray back, second from the bottom, I see those sickly blue-gray legs. I'm sure you're seeing that.
Yep.
Yeah, and still the long wing projection, the long bill, as you mentioned, against that small head. That to me looks different than an American herring gull.
Yep.
Not as bulky. The dark line behind the eye is pretty unique.
How about the frown? The frowny gape. Does that is that as consistent as you'd want it to be?
I think if you're zooming in, I'll zoom in on this, and I think the bottom two birds show it. They show it more than those herring gulls to the right.
Yep.
I think it's a pretty consistent feature. It's very consistent in adults when they have some color, some reddish color on there. But you can see it in these first cycles. Definitely, I can make that out on especially the second to bottom bird with the sickly blue. I see that frown. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, and now to make it a little bit more confusing there. Now this, you wouldn't mistake that bird for a ring-billed gull, except that you might. And ring-billed gulls can get that same kind of bluish legs, and they can get the same. California gull can show that bluish color. The one there that we're talking about kind of has that bluish color at the base of the bill, and ring-billed gull can show that as well. And it's then you've got to, if you see them side by side, it's not that difficult. But if they're not, that can be a little confusing.
Yeah. That one with the sickly blue legs.
Yep.
The flanks and the belly look pretty smudgy and solid.
Yep.
Or dark instead of the coarse chevrons and the coarse scaling pattern that you would see on the ring-billed.
Yeah, and I think, really the only thing about that bird on the bottom, the head identifies it as a California gull, but the rest of the bird could easily be a herring gull.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I'm seeing some yellowish legs on that bird, but it's kind of vague. It's not very clear what the leg color is on that bird.
Yeah. And a lot of those birds that are, at that time of year, where the legs are kind of ambiguous, depending on the lighting, the light reflected up off the sand of a beach or something, that can change how you perceive the color of the legs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now the flying birds, I kind of did the same thing I did with ring-billed and short-billed, where I picked a couple that are intentionally a little bit confusing. So the two flying birds on the left are California, and the two flying birds on the right are American herring. At least I'm 99.9% sure about that bird on the far right. I photographed that bird in Chicago, and I've never been 100%. I mean, I'm sure it's an American herring, but it confused me at the time.
Oh, I know that feeling. There's birds that I have in the X files that I come back to from time to time, and it's hard to describe in a photo sometimes what was bothering you in the field.
Yeah.
But I think that bird looks okay for a second cycle American herring gull. It does have some California gull elements, right?
Yep.
But The tail band, I think the tail base is a little more broad than your average California gull, although that's variable. I think the bill is fairly short.
Yep.
A little stout compared to the long pencil thin bill of California gull, but that's not an easy one, especially like if you were to see that bird in Colorado or somewhere out west, you might go California gull on that bird, right?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was looking for when I saw it. Now those two first cycle birds in the middle, the bird on the left, there's a lot going on there, but
I think a useful feature is how whitish the lesser and median coverts are. If you compare those to the herring gull to the right, they almost never get that solid white on the lesser and median coverts.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing about that California gull, right in the center there, is the bases to the greater coverts. I wish there was a way I could point at this for people who are watching at home. The bases to the greater coverts are usually more brown on most cycle California gulls. So you picked a good one there to ponder. The upper tail coverts on that California gull, they're not as consistently barred as the herring gull to the right.
Yep.
They just seem to have more white gaps in between than the herring gull.
Right.
Yeah, another interesting feature on that California gull are the white capsules that you're seeing on the inner primaries.
Yes.
That's hit or miss. Like some of them don't show that. Some of them show more of a solid brown inner wing panel.
Yep.
But some of them do have that contrasty white capsule on the outer edge of the inner primaries.
Yeah, that's and one other thing I notice about that bird is kind of like with the short-billed gull, I've noticed that a lot of California gulls show kind of a dark cowl around the neck and the back of the head. And you can even see it in that very ratty late kind of summer, I don't know, second cycle bird flying there, that dark sort of smudgy all over the back of the neck. I've found that to be fairly consistent. Although if Alvaro were here, he'd first say, "Where's my cinnamon gull?" and B, "Nah."
Well, look, I totally see that cowl, that neck. To me, it looks like if you took like motor oil or some type of oil, some type of chemical, and you just rubbed it on the back of their neck. That's what it often looks like on those California gulls.
Yeah.
It's a very dark, greasy look to them. It's not as smudged and velvety, say, as American herring gull.
Yeah. And you can see on that flying bird, it's got the postocular line that you were talking about. That's pretty noticeable there. It's got that long, thin bill that just doesn't look like a herring gull. It's not bulbous at the end, but it's got this California gull. If you see them well, they have this strange droop to the end of the bill that's very hard to describe. And field guide authors all try to describe it, and it's the word they come up with is droop, but it doesn't really do justice to what it is. It's kind of like an optical illusion, but it's definitely there.
It's not as straight as, say, a lesser blackback.
Right.
Than American. Oh, yeah, it does this little dip. It's interesting, but that's a long-winged bird. That bird that's just entering its second cycle.
Yeah,
the one with the white head in flight there. The wing is not as broad as most American herrings, and I know that's difficult for folks who don't see the two together, but overall, there's a small head, long pencil, thin bill on that California gull. Darker gray scapulars. Those are genuinely darker gray.
Yep.
And you know, other than that, a lot of it's going to be context. You're going to see it with other California gulls, hopefully, and accept it as a California gull. There's nothing there that would necessarily rule out American herring gulls. You might have an American herring gull that looks like that, but given the longer thin bill, the smaller head, the postocular line, the darker gray on the back, the narrower wing, I think if you had it in a group of herring gulls, all those things would collectively make it stand out.
Yeah, and you know, one other thing too is the way that the lesser coverts and, well, the wing coverts shy of the very upper edge, the way they get bleached out there, that's something I think California gulls tend to do at that time of year, you know, in that plumage more than herring gulls, is they get those kind of white patches on the upper wing panel.
Sure. And that inner primary window, that pale segment of inner primaries, that's interesting. You know, that's not something you expect on California gull. That's really pale.
Yeah.
But it could be the birds started out with pale inner primaries and they just got weaker and more faded throughout the year. But
yeah, and you can see they're kind of falling apart too.
Yeah. There's definitely some wear and some fading that's happening there.
Cool. Well, you know, I think we made it. I think we did it.
I hope you got it.
I think we did it. So I am grateful to you, my friend. Thank you for coming on and doing this.
You're welcome.
And you know, for everybody out there, you know, we are trying to raise some memberships right now. And so if you enjoy this program and everything we do, hit that button right down there. Go to your web browser and go to ABA. It's not a button. ABA.org/join and be part of the club. We would love to have you. And Ayyash, ladies and gentlemen, author of The Gull Guide from Princeton, now in its second printing. It's a great book with 45 pages of American herring gulls. Well, of herring gulls, I should say.
Highly recommended.
Highly recommended. Highly recommended. All right, man. I thank you again, and I will talk to you soon, hopefully in person.
Thank you, Greg.
All right. Bye.
I'm Peter Kasner, a lifetime member of the ABA. I started birding before I can remember. I've got family photos and movies of me birding at age 3. So I've always been a birder and been an ABA member almost as long. I joined while I was in college. And apart from a brief hiatus while I was in the Peace Corps in a tiny village in the middle of nowhere in Africa, I've been a member ever since. Over the years, ABA has evolved, and nowadays it is a fantastic bulwark for the community of birders in the United States. The community is getting more diverse and younger all the time. Of course, I'm on the other side of that. I've been at 73, I'm on my way out. But it is so great to see all the young people. I just last week was up at Michigan State University and gave a talk for the bird club up there and had a wonderful, wonderful interaction with those eager young birders. The thing that's most important to me is the community. It really is a great way of expanding your community from your local patch, your local organization, your local environment to the greater community in the United States. So I encourage you, if you're not a member, please sign up. It's aba.org/membership. The ABA says that there are a million ways to bird. One of those ways is by being an ABA member.
Oh, hi there. I'm Jessica. You may know me from my Instagram account, Tucson Birder.
for being the 298th top birder in Pima County, or for being a proud member of the American Birding Association. Birding to me is about getting outside, slowing down, and appreciating the birds around me. It's always fun to spot a bird I've never seen before, but I also enjoy watching the birds in my backyard or greeting the birds that are back for the next season. Try to be sad looking at a phainopepla. You can't. It's impossible. The biggest surprise about becoming a birder? I met a community of like-minded people. Who knew some of the coolest people you'll ever meet like to talk about molts and wear binocular harnesses? So if you want to become a birder, grow as a birder, or support the next generation of birder, this is where the American Birding Association comes in. They host field trips, have online communities, and even run programs for those getting into birding. Plus, my favorite benefit? Birding Magazine. Go to aba.org/membership to learn more about the benefits and join me in becoming a member.
Where do I get Amat to sign mine?
Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah.
Well, maybe this fall.
Yeah, maybe. I'll bring it with me.
We did it.
We did it. We got to the end of 3+ hours of almost 4 hours of birding content, Greg. We did our telethon. It's been really fun hanging out with all these folks online, talking about birds, talking about the ABA. And of course, thank you so much to all of our guests, Nick Lund, Martha Harbison, and Ayyash, and all the wonderful people who sent in all these great testimonials, speaking very kindly about the American Birding Association from all different parts of the birding community. Obviously, the community is something that both you and I feel very strongly about, Greg. The bird world is a great world, and everyone should be a birder, and the world will be better if there are more birders out there in it. And certainly that's something we want to do here at the ABA. So
birding quite
join us.
Yes, birding quite seriously saved my life as a kid. I don't know where I would be or if I'd even be if it weren't for the birding community, and in particular the mentors. I was thinking about that as I was putting this all together.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I should do one of those testimonials. And I'm like, no, people are seeing enough of me. They don't need a pre-recorded video of me.
Yeah, right.
But I was thinking, I mean, I've made no secret of the fact that my home life and everything was just garbage when I was a little kid and a teenager. And then I think about my mentors and the people I met through bird walks and birding in Lincoln Park and just being out there. And I had mentors, people who took serious amounts of time in their lives to guide me through life. That included, a museum director and scientist, a professor of geography, a parole officer, a cop. Those are two different people. And just this whole host of just incredible people who took time away from their lives to help me with my life. And it's been there for me throughout my entire life. And that's really what the ABA and the birding community is all about. And I mean, all of you people out there listening, hopefully still go to aba.org/join and join the club. We'd love you to be there and to join us. And my brain's a little mush. I've been here for 4 hours now.
I think you would agree, Greg, that both of us are super fortunate to have birding as both a avocation and a vocation. And the only reason we can do that is because that the American Birding Association has this dedicated group of members that help us through their membership, through their donations. And it means a lot to me that there are people out there that believe in what we're doing and believe in birding as a path to a better world and a better you. And so it's always great to see that manifest when we do stuff like that and we have all these people. Do you want to give a few more shout outs to folks who have joined? Let me pull out my so the folks that we have 3 more people that have joined: William and Deborah from University Place, Washington, Joan from Arlington, Virginia, and Laurel from San Diego, California. Thank you so much for joining the ABA. not only do you get this great membership, you get a lot of great opportunities to enjoy birding through our free resources and through our magazines and through our online stuff. But you're helping us out too, and for that we are inordinately grateful for your help doing that. What else we got, Greg? We're about at the end of this.
That is it for us, guys. Again,
that's it for us.
Thank
wow,
you.
We did it.
Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, I think maybe in a couple of weeks we'll be back with another episode of What's This Bird? And
yep.
I'm just telling you, the take it or leave it on video, I think you should consider it.
We need more takes. Always need more takes. I still got a list of man. The list of takes for this one was so long.
Yeah, you had like 15 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, more than that.
Store them. You'll use them.
Save them for later. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up. Once again, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out aba.org/join, aba.org/membership. Those are the places to go. We had about, I don't know, like 60 some people join in the time that we've been doing this. We had a few other people join before that. We've been kind of promoting this for a while. All that counts towards our generous benefactor on our board for adding. So thank you all those people. Thanks to all the people that are following us. Oh man, look, I'm waving to just names on the screen. I don't know what I'm doing, man. This has been a long time talking about birds. Again, tell those people, hey, if Wayne is on, tell those people to go outside for a few hours.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. Thanks again. We'll be back. Like and subscribe to the ABA's social media stuff. Join the ABA, get on our Flight Calls newsletter, and we'll let you know when we do this. Listen to the ABA podcast, all the things that we're doing. We're excited to talk about birds in lots of different places, and thanks for helping. Thanks for letting us do that.
Yeah. All right. Bye, folks.
All right. Adios. Thanks, everybody.